Everybody, we are back with the DODCAST episode 8. I am Corey Jagon Marco. We've got Tony Compton, just Tony Compton. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back. Sorry I missed last week, but hoping to kick it into gear this week and do a hell of a job for you guys. Got a big guest joining us today, TomFoolery from the clinic. How's it going today, Tom?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for
Really
being
glad
here.
to have you.
Always a good time to get new people on the show, of course. We had a pretty interesting week last week on Solitude. It's going to be fun to go over all this stuff. We got a little house cleaning to do first, Tony.
Yeah, just real quick, Tom. I know everyone's kind of wondering what's going on in Silver. Can you just give us like a quick 1-minute update on the Silver scheduling with the DreamWorks stepping down situation?
Yeah, so essentially, DreamWorks couldn't field a team, and they were essentially going to forfeit the rest of the season. We left it up to the Silver captains to vote, and they voted to play more matches. Shocking. So they want more DOD. And so essentially what we did is we took everybody who had a bye week versus DreamWorks, and we reshuffled those and rescheduled them randomly against other teams for makeup matches. So if you go to the KTP Season 2 Silver thread on there, it has the makeup schedule for every single week and what the matches are going to be of. And they essentially have till the rest of the season to play them out, in addition to their normally scheduled matches. So most of the teams will be playing 2 matches at least once between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, plenty of time.
It's a lot of matches, though. But
there's a lot of matches. Lots
that's
of
what they want. Hell yeah.
More movie clips.
Yeah, a lot more action. More.
That's
cast,
what I
maybe.
hear. Definitely more cast. So
And
I'll have
is
no
this
throat.
for sure final solution, or is this still? Are there still some things happening here?
Nope. I think this is the final solution right now. Right. Everything's set in stone. The teams are going to play who they're scheduled against on the maps they're scheduled against. Now between the end of the season, and I think that's going to be that.
Well, it's going to lead to some crazy back-to-backs in Silver this week and going forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some of the matches scheduled are pretty dope as far as I'm concerned. That's going to be exciting for me. No-go sleepers.
Some of them are against teams they just played against or will just be playing against too, so it's almost like a revenge match.
Yeah, that's true too. And that gives a lot of way to make ground up in the standings for teams that lost to a team that they might, have really not been able to afford losing against.
I'm a little worried about the strength of schedule for some of these back-to-backs.
Like no-go?
Yeah, I think No-Go's got a couple tough back-to-backs here, and then is Washington playing Moose Knuckles back-to-back one of these weeks, or what's going on there?
Let's see.
Yep. Yeah, this week on chemille, right? Is Moose Knuckles washed up.
And then they'll play. I don't want to get too into this. If they're playing 2 matches, that's fine. Whatever. Silver, if you have any questions, hit up the admins. Silver players, talk to your captains. I'm sure they're in the loop. One other thing I wanted to mention was Lennon_test is the final version for this season that will be played. There will not be any more updates. So make sure you get that installed and checked out before next week. It's been released for a while. So.
Yeah.
And
since Railyard came out.
Yeah, when Railyard came out, I said I didn't want to hear you bitching about Lennon because it's coming out the same time.
No excuses.
I let the Railyard bitching go by. That was fine. But Railroad 2, on the other hand, not sure.
Different story.
There. If I was a betting man, I would say there's going to be some updated version of Railroad 2 done in the next week or 2.
Right.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if we're just playing the Railroad 2 that everyone knows and loves.
Yeah. Even if it is quote-unquote new Railroad 2, the changes are just like bug removal. Like the railings. Everybody knows how fucked up the railings are.
Fixing the railings. I can't even remember. There's a few other things like getting stuck in a few spots that need to be figured out. I don't know. And honestly, I don't know. It's probably just going to be the Railroad 2 everyone knows.
Yeah, that'd be my bet. Seems like...
The more I think about it, it's probably heading that way.
We'll worry about that when
we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Or jump off of it.
Exactly. Last thing for the KTP hot topics, the configs. Oh boy. All I'm going to say about the configs is the deep dive into them will probably happen at the end of this season. And I know there's been some strong emotions about them, and that's fine. You should definitely voice your opinion.
I think one guy's had strong opinions, and I think everybody else has followed that.
Yeah, preferably in ways that are constructive, but it's not like the configs are being ignored. Like the configs were screwed up. There were some major flaws with them in the past,
It's
and now
almost
they're
like
now they're all being looked at.
it's almost like we were all playing in the way that we thought the configs reflected, and it turned out the configs were wrong, and now the configs are just what we thought we were playing on all along. But I won't get started on that because we'll be here till tomorrow.
Yeah. So again, all I'm going to say about the configs is it's going to be a deep, deep discussion that's probably going to happen after this season. So, yeah, if everyone can just swallow that pill, we can move forward.
Can we, though?
I don't know. Maybe it's community. Your Discord stream closed, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
Just a quick heads up.
Don't worry,
That's
I
why they
got
say
it.
don't do live TV, Corey.
Huh, that's weird. I don't know
All
how
right,
that
but
happened.
while you're figuring that out, that's all I had for our housekeeping, and we can jump right into the silver recap on DOD Solitude.
Yeah,
Hell of a map.
there was some serious shit popping off on Solitude this week.
There was some wild matches in silver this week on Solitude.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the match of the week, which we will get to, had major stakes in it. That was crazy. There's a few crazy ones.
Yeah, first match I do want to go through, though, is Sleepers versus Fast Loris.
Oh, yeah. So I
Which
did
was
not get to cast this one.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. It was a pretty big Sleepers win, 185 to 44.
Wow, okay.
And
Opening up
wait for
these screenshots here. I thought that they would just open there, but they did not. So there we are. Gonna just get both of them open here.
Yeah, get them open and just taking a quick look at them. Pretty much a
Ooh.
full-on Sleepers domination.
Banaki with a big 38 bomb on Axis there.
Banaki, huge half. Huge Axis half. I wonder where he went. He probably went double cap.
Yeah, I would think so. Wow, the frags. Sleepers really came out flying here. 52 frag difference on their Axis side, about 39 on Allies. Damn.
I gotta say, I did not think Axis would dominate this map as hard as they did.
Yeah, it did turn.
I think that's just where we're at in DOD.
It is one of those things, right? Honestly, it seems like if you think about it, you get the double cap, holding it as an Axis is significantly easier. You're on the high ground. They have to come up a hill. Like, yeah, they can go prone at the bottom of it, but you can kind of see that coming. Nades all funnel into a small, like, 5-foot area. It makes sense. But at the same time, I do think that there are some things that favor Allies about the map. But this week, for the most part, it seemed like Axis side was the side to be on. Banaki actually top fragged overall there. Wow, 74.
Huge kill count for Banaki.
Attaboy.
36 with the Garand.
Yeah.
And then
a beast.
LZL also stepped up. Looks like 29 with the Garand.
Yeah, their rifle
And
team was going
second
off.
frag on the car.
Zaps
32.
on the Garand, 34. All three of their rifles were playing big
Banaki
time.
was the silver top fragger of the week. I can go ahead and stamp that one in.
I won't open that one up just because I don't want to spoil the MVP of the gold side of things.
And he was not the MVP, but he was the top fragger on the week.
Okay, so a common theme going on this week in the MVPs, I guess. But yeah, I mean, this match, I didn't get to watch. Did either of you guys get to watch this at all?
No, I missed it, unfortunately.
Same.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't have much we can really say about the actual goings on in the match. I think it was going on right at the same time as something I was casting.
They played Sunday night. I think they played while we played our match.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe even before.
Because if there had been a Sleepers match, I could have cast it. I would have, and they know it. So, well, regardless, it looks like Stealth, of course, led the way for Fast Loris, as he always does. Although, actually, he might not have top fragged overall. Hey Hi at 24.
Hey Hi played well. Yeah.
Hey Hi with 48. Yep. Actually, they tied. Stealth and Hey Hi tied for the top frag. So good on Hey Hi. Has he gotten to play much this season, Tom? I don't even know.
He's missed a couple of matches. He does quite a bit of traveling.
Okay.
So I think he's missed maybe 3 matches so far. But when he's playing, he's on. He's a good player. He's rifling, which is a little different than last season when he heavied for us.
Yeah.
So a little different role, but I mean, really solid player, can kind of do anything he wants.
Right. He's very reliable. Very solid.
I've been saying he's been heavy in the whole season.
Whoops.
Sorry, Hey Hi. I didn't know you were rifling.
Right. We all know him as a heavy.
So is Twist and Red Dog heavying then?
Twist and Red Dog was rifling, I believe, earlier in the season, but I think he's back to heavying now with Twist.
That makes sense.
Stamp third, and Laura and Hey Hi main rifling and stealth sniping.
Good old Kevin, always dropping bombs.
Yep. This is just a rough map, though. Once you get going, it's just kind of an avalanche sometimes, right?
Yeah.
It's almost better just to allow a cap out than just like the points to tick away for
Right.
an entire half.
Yeah, that was a point of contention with us on this map too. Like at a certain point, being held back at our one, should we just say fuck it? And we got into that situation too in our match. So, ay.
Chi with the big 31 kills with the bar to
Attaboy.
bringing it in. Looks like he was going double cap at least in a screenshot,
I believe so.
unless that's slip. You know I love getting those two mixed up. So.
No, that is the tunnel to double cap
And
for
Unter
sure.
on the Axis side.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like with Chi that he was going to be pissed off at the rail yard match, so I expected him and Sleepers to come out strong this week, and they did not disappoint in that regard. Those guys really, really go out of their way to always be improving, and they take those losses hard, so a very, very well done match by Sleepers there. The final score was, again, 185-44 for Sleepers.
That puts him at 4-1, top of silver.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, look at the points forced. That's crazy. 700 or roughly 700 points forced more.
Yeah, they've taken advantage of the system to say the least.
Yep.
1,225.
Their schedule is backloaded though. They have tough matches the rest of the way.
Right, they did just play Price is Right as well, which was, I mean, that was Price is Right looked great on rail yard there. But there's a major traffic jam at the top of silver. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out now.
Yeah, let's keep going though. Let's go to the next silver matchup, which is Washed Up versus No Go. Tight game here.
Oh yeah, that was a really good match.
Ended up taking it 118-103.
Damn, everybody's using Image BB for their screenshots now, huh?
Yeah, I'm really proud of everyone. They really stepped up their
client schemes and all.
Game.
So this match was interesting. You had Washed Up. They didn't have Bullet, and they didn't have Arachnid. Oh, I just fucked up. They had ProStar filling in, though, which was cool. He went 27-20 on Axis, and on Allies, he was 18-28, not as good. That kind of speaks the whole shebang on the double cap.
That's just heavy in that double cap on this map. It is not fun with the bar sometimes.
Yeah. And Insane, 24-22 on the Car, 18-22 on the Garand. I mean, really, No-Go just came prepared for this.
Yeah, they practiced pretty well for this. They had a strategy that they liked, and Spoon, I think he pulled an audible before the match and decided he's going double cap. He's gone double cap his whole career, but for whatever reason, he thought this was the week he's going mid-house. And I don't know, somewhere between that decision and the match, he realized how wrong he was. And it might have even been before the match, he decided he's going double cap again, but it worked out.
I know where it came from, because that mid-house heavy is usually your big fragger heavy, and he just got 86 kills on rail yard, so he was like, I'm Baloo. I'm going mid-house.
I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
He quickly realized that that's not what he wanted to do.
It's a good thing, too, because that double cap was like so ridiculously contested by both teams.
Yeah, they did need all that
match.
firepower, and ProStar was doing his best, to hold that down any way possible.
He took Bullet Fodder's place admirably.
He did. Bullet was probably very proud.
Yes, and he did a great job with that. Like, he was relocating where he was proning and everything. That was basically like almost like watching an educational video on how to prone around with a heavy on double cap. That's how it's always been done on Solitude. Like, for people that are trying to win in a competitive setting.
Score is a little misleading here. It was a super tight match, and then No-Go did get a ninja at the end.
Yes, that's right.
Which really solidified that win. I mean, obviously still very close. And Washed Up did cap out in the final seconds.
That's right, yeah.
Classic No-Go maneuver there.
So, like, realistically, it was kind of like, the difference is basically what the difference was in the end.
Yeah,
because they both got a little bit of cap out.
But it was, like, and all that happened in, like, the last 2 minutes.
I know that Yanni had himself some movie clips there, and I know that I saw Saf and Matthew get a lot of big breaks.
Yeah, Matthew.
Matt was like on fire, just everywhere.
He both halves for them.
Yep.
So.
He came out and led by example. Yep.
Yeah. He's so underrated. He's so good.
Right?
He
Playing
really is in it.
Every class.
Very old school player.
Exactly.
A lot of LAN experience. Like, that's what I love about the guy. And he's just super chill. Like, he just wants to have fun.
Yeah.
He's also a variety gamer. Like, he doesn't want to play the same class every week,
Yeah.
He likes mixing it up.
And he does well with all of them. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's how he does. That's how he's so good at everything, pretty much.
You love
including the
to see
carbine.
Yeah,
he's right behind Element in my top carbiners.
Paul Kuhn won't like that list if you're not including him.
Hey, Paul Kuhn's #1 prone sniper though.
That's
That's
true.
So
true.
he's got that.
That was a revelation.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
we got a whole
was-
hour blocked off for that,
Right.
so don't worry.
But no
But yeah,
go.
you're
Wow,
right. No arachnid
you're right.
on this map is clearly a huge
Yep.
difference maker.
It would have helped. Yeah,
I'm not saying it's the difference, but that's a huge play. And Bromley sniped well.
He
Not
did.
taking anything away from Bromley.
there's only so much you can do in the situations that you get in on the solitude. Is like I was stuck in the same positions in our match where it was like, well, we're getting capped on potentially. So if I go and try to do more than my job right now, I could be the reason that we lose.
Yeah, you eventually get in that spot where you're like just staring down your long side from a safe spot for
Yeah.
like 5 minutes, just trying to kill one person so you can get some
Hoping-
space.
Yeah, just
And
hoping
the whole time
praying.
they're just flooding, under your jump, go into your 2, and you feel worthless.
I hate it.
And then has Deidro been? It looks like he's sniping. Has he sniped all season, or is it just this map? Because I thought
Well-
he's rifled a few times.
Yeah, he's been all
Sniper's
over.
been passed around. JN would probably be the preferred sniper on every map, but this is his last week. He's unfortunately going to be not available for playoffs.
He's going
forward.
doctoring, baby.
Yeah, he's going doctoring. So it's kind of been like someone else need to figure it out, So they're taking
Yep.
these weeks to try out a few things. Deidro's been playing well though on the
Oh, yeah.
snipers.
I mean,
So
even if
he's
he-
definitely an option.
Like 18 and 16 and 15 and 13, like he's just playing a defensive sniper. Like that's fine.
What they're trying to do is avoiding putting Matt on it.
Yeah,
Who is a very good sniper, but
Yep.
like we've said, like Matt excels in everywhere else. Like you kind of want other people to get comfortable, and then Matt will clean up after that. That's how he's always played.
that's the old me problem, Like, yeah, I can snipe, and that's great, but in most cases, like most teams are going to be better off with me on a rifle where I can have nades. But if you don't have anyone else who can snipe, then like I can snipe, and that's what I've had to do now. So I get that position that Matthew's in. But it's good that like they're trying to figure out a way to not have to have him snipe, because I wish
Yeah.
Thunder had done the same.
Yeah, and
Now's the time though. Got to work it out. You got
Yep.
3 weeks, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Lots of
and
matches.
some maps he may just
And
be
there's
forced
some-
to snipe.
Yeah. And some decent sniper maps though. Solitude, Railroad, right?
Yeah, you can get it figured out really, really well in these coming weeks with, the double matchups too.
Yeah, that is a good thing for the extra matches. Is a little more practice.
They'll definitely know who the best case scenario sniper is for them before the playoffs are up.
Yeah, so that'll put No Go also at 4-1.
They're looking
Washed
sweet.
Up will drop to 4-2, but they're right behind them.
Yeah, and they've got a tiebreaker over Love Me Not, who's right up there, and who just took out Price is Right, obviously. So there's some interesting scenarios that could come to fruition in Silver.
Yeah, and just a quick look at like strength of schedule. Price is Right probably has the easiest remaining schedule, and No Go has probably the hardest.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about the boys, but all they gotta do is make that top 4, and I think they can do it.
Yeah, No-Go definitely. Wow. That is quite a bit of disparity between those two schedules. Holy shit.
Yeah. But
Rough for
if you look
No-Go.
at the earlier weeks, or earlier weeks, No Go had a very favorable schedule.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
CIS, Moose Knuckles, and then
Well, then they got Prices Right.
Yeah. Love Me Not.
Yeah, they had a bye.
Sleepers again.
Yeah, that's
Gonna be
crazy.
a little rough.
and then 2 matches against Love Me Not. So essentially, you're looking at 3 Sleepers
Wow.
matches and 2 Love Me Not matches, which is
But you-
brutal.
But you know what? You take 4 out of 5 of those, or something like that, then you're full steam ahead going into playoffs, and you got
Yeah,
the momentum.
Yeah. The
Right.
good news is they've played Sleepers a lot, so that's
true.
not unknown territory there, and it's usually pretty close. So those should be some good matches.
So what, they
Love
have,
Me Not,
do they have
you never
5
know.
matches left and 4 of them are against Love Me Not, and Sleepers then?
All of them are
All of
against
them are.
Love Me Not, and Sleepers.
Well, they have a match against DreamWorks, quote unquote, right here.
But that's
That's-
the makeup match goes to Sleepers and
Yeah.
Love Me
Yeah.
Not.
And if you scroll up, you could see that they're scheduled their Anzio match now against Love Me Not,
Yeah,
which is peculiar. But
it's crazy.
I just guess that's how it worked out, And again, I'm not even gonna criticize it because I think everyone wants to play more matches. So
That's how the vote panned
that's
out
how you
then,
get more
so
matches.
They got it
All right,
done.
but again, No Go beating Washed Up 118-103.
Good game to both. That was a fun one to cast for
Yeah,
sure.
good GGs to both teams. Next matchup, CIS versus Moose Knuckles in the battle of the
Oh,
0 wins or whatever. You want to call it?
Wow.
Battle of the beaten.
Yeah, Battle of the winless, and CIS is no longer winless.
Yeah,
after
they have climbed out of that pit of darkness and got their first victory.
That was, yeah, and I was casting in spectator for this one because there was no HLTV in there. But
Full G-Money mode.
CIS looked fucking great. They looked great.
They did.
They were all over the place.
I think the scheduling hurt Moose Knuckles here, clearly, as they had two ringers from No Go.
Yeah.
Who both played pretty well.
And they were in place of, Quack Duck and Sean Allity, their two best players.
Yeah, probably their two best players. So, unfortunately, I'm still really glad Bojanglers could field the team, though, against them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he wasn't thrilled about playing at that time, but I got a lot of respect for Moose Knuckles. They're grinding it out. They were in this one for a while.
They were.
It just kind of got away from them in the second half.
Yeah.
This was CIS actually dominated allies, which is kind of the opposite of what I thought was going to happen.
That was weird.
After that first half, I thought Moose Knuckles was in this.
They got this thing.
And then it just got a little bit hairy second half.
Oh, yeah. You look at the frag totals on CIS here. I mean, 33 on Hong Kong Mafia, 35 on Riley, 32 on PKL. I mean, he was dominant with the heavy going double cap.
And Hong Kong Mafia also 28 and 12 on Axis, and that will he is our silver player of the week.
Well done. A sniper on Solitude getting the MVP.
His team their first win.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Big performance.
Yeah, I do recall he had movie clip after movie clip, just getting 3 and 4 kills at a time.
Azilla, big 32 with the Un on Axis.
Yeah.
Mad respect there.
And almost I remember Riley Staffer on Axis, was bottom fragging for about 16 minutes and then somehow ended up surpassing multiple guys on his team in the end. He's like, no. I am the top fragger here.
And he was tossing, too.
Yeah. I mean, look, and 35 with a grand. The guy is just nuts. He's usually heavy, but he's playing something different every week, it seems like. And he's always getting his kills, no matter what. You love to see it. And I know that Bo was rifling as well, which I've always seen him heavying, so that was kind of an interesting surprise. And he was holding his own, especially with the car. He was hitting a lot. I think he had a couple pretty fast 3Ks with the car.
Yeah, 26 kills with the car, top fragged on his team.
While, I mean, they're getting severely out-fragged here, 58, and he still is putting up his own numbers, so that's impressive to see. I know OS had a lot of multi-kills as well during that cast. Big Bird, maybe it was on Allied side, Big Bird, yeah. He was doing his job a lot, being the one to kill Hong Kong Mafia, where, nobody else could, so there's only so much you can do, but in the end, CIS proved that they have taken it seriously and improved week after week. And I'm telling you, the time's coming where they're going to beat somebody else, too.
What do you think of this CIS team, Tom?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty impressed. So I've had Riley Stafford ring one time, and then I've pugged against them. And I was actually pretty impressed from a team that I think is mostly source players, right? And probably had a ping disadvantage, right? Still picking up the intricacies of, not playing in source. I'm pretty impressed. They're natural aimers, and I think if they play next season after some experience, they'll be pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I do agree, too.
Yeah, and playing the strength of schedule, just looking ahead, too, for him. They got Moose Knuckles this week, again, so rematch on Chemille, and then Price is Right, and then Fast Loris. So, there's a chance they could pick up a couple wins there.
Oh, yeah. Damn, that really works out.
Moose Knuckles.
Yeah. They could be looking at a 500 record when all is said and done, which I don't think they would have expected that heading into it. Or anybody that played them that first week they were around, and they took it seriously and learned. I know that the big thing we kept saying early on was they got to learn the nades and they got to learn the common angles. And then the next time I ran into those guys, I was getting naded from everywhere. So they did it.
It's been crazy to see them grow from that Harrington scrim week 1 to where they are now.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of these maps are probably new to them.
Yeah,
I
completely.
never played Source a ton, but I know there's some carryover from 1.3 to Source. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these maps are new. Hallie's got to be new for them.
Totally,
the railroads are. Chemille's probably new for them.
Yeah, I don't think there was a Source Chemille. There may have been.
No, there is. It's a little different, but I mean, even still.
Advance.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it mostly looks like it, but it plays a little different in some spots, and the strategies are probably a little different. You know, you see it with Colin a lot where, like, there's certain spots on maps in 1.3 where, like, the sniper is only going, but in Source it was just a rifle, so, like, Colin will be standing in a sniper loft with a Garand. It's one of those little things that's just a bit different between Source and 1.3.
But yeah, I mean, the aim's there. It's just learning some of the maps, some of the other intricacies like nades, and then like, when to push at the respawn timers. And I think they get that figured out. They could be pretty dangerous in playoffs.
Oh yeah, they got some serious frag power in that lineup. Riley and Hong
They're not a
Kong.
pushover, that's for
No.
sure.
I'm very
Alright.
excited to see them going forward.
Well, congrats to CIS on that first win of the year, 189 over Moose Knuckles, who had 76, and that will be a rematch again, like Tom said, on chemille week 7.
Yes.
And that will bring us to our match of the week and final match in silver, which was Price is Right versus Love Me Not in a classic throwdown on chemille.
That it was. Not Chemille.
Sorry,
Solitude.
Solitude. Price is Right would take their first loss of the year.
They would. Love Me Not.
Would grind themselves into first place, it would appear.
Man.
Actually, I guess Sleepers is first right now until they play.
Right. Technically, yeah.
And I think you got to cast this one, right?
I did, yeah. This was a late Friday night cast, and it was a barn burner, to say the least.
Yep.
I mean, God, Devin with 39 on Axis. I think he top fragged overall, if I recall correctly. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, 34 on Allies as well.
73 kills there for Devin.
Yep.
Colin.
Huge performance by Devin, heavy in, I believe. I don't
Yeah.
think he bar card.
No, I don't think he bar card. Yeah, I believe so. I think I made a comment about it at the beginning, like, man, I think it's maybe not a good idea for them to send both Devin and Colin double cap. This might come back to bite them, and it turned out to actually have been the right call. And I had to admit that on stream at the same time. There was a lot of interesting things going on there. Like, we had Caleb on Allied side, like, really ratting it up with the bar around the garden. Like, I think, he was technically going mid-house, but he was, like, prone around in garden. He was really catching them off guard. 27 and 19 with the bar there, top fragging for his team, and he almost managed to cap out in the waning seconds of the match to win. Like, got as close as you can get.
Yep. And they got hit so hard in the face on their Allied half that Caleb was, I think, 15 and 6, and the rest of them were like under 6 kills.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally carrying them.
He was carrying them
as hard as he could. And he had some big flanks at Garden that really opened up the map. And it's unfortunate they couldn't take advantage, but that's just kind of how Solitude goes.
Yeah.
Sometimes that last guy is enough to break the cap or cause enough of a delay.
Stupid nades, man.
So, big shout out to Caleb for getting it done on Allied half, getting dirty, doing what needed to be done.
Oh, yeah.
One little critique I had, and I hate to even bring it up, but like, there was a few times where Caleb made plays like that on Allies, getting a lot of space, and Price is Right just charged right behind him instead of setting up in mid house and trying to build some space, because and they didn't have mid this whole time,
right?
So they're essentially just pushing to die, and Caleb was making insane space, and his teammates were just running out right behind him and dying, unfortunately.
I know, you alluded to that during the cast, too.
Yeah, and I was probably a little harsh on recoil there a few times, but getting tower. Come on.
That is the sweet spot there for a sniper,
Yeah, you don't want to see your sniper sprinting out of mid-house and just getting naded while he's trying to grab a car.
Yeah. You can do a lot more, even if you're not like looking back and forth, but just stare at the hole exit and prevent them from getting in.
Especially when you don't have mid. You cannot be doing that when you don't have mid.
You can be cutting them off so hard just by holding down the hole from the tower there. But I mean, in the heat of the match, I get it. Things go down, and you start to panic, and you try to do a little too much, and you get caught out a few times. And
one thing that's a little upsetting: how did KO end up on this roster?
Yeah, I thought he was on. What was it?
Traded.
Slow Loris, right?
Yeah, that was the trade.
I guess he declined the trade offer and went to free agency. And
something
was claimed
like
by
that.
waivers.
I don't remember.
Silver team.
Do you remember, Tom?
I'm trying to remember. I thought it had to do with maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought Austin was involved in that trade, but
he was. Here's what happened. The trade went down. And then KO played like 6 matches one day on Halley.
Yeah.
And no one knew what team he was on. And it's been like that for weeks, and now I'm just seeing once roster's locked that he's on Let Me Not.
Yeah.
Feels a bit rich.
I don't remember how that, like, I don't know how he went from, because he definitely got traded to Slow Loris there. He started off on Icy
we haven't
Hot.
seen Wydra in
Yeah,
a
no,
month.
he's nowhere to be
Yeah.
found.
I mean, I think you have your core for Love Me Not. Like, you have a core 3 or 4 people who have played every time, and the rest, I think, funnel in and out
Yeah.
and swap. And
I think it may be like, it was something to do with Scott's availability or something. Like, he was never going to be able to play for Slow Loris because they were, you know, like, he
That
can't
could be a
play.
thing.
Something like that. So, like, maybe he could only play in this match because it was at 10:30 on a Friday instead of being in the afternoon on a Sunday or default time or whatever. I don't know. I guess we'll see going forward. But, yeah, he was definitely a part. It was Austin traded to Icy Hot for KO and Wydra. And then KO still played for Icy Hot that, like, same
That
week.
Yeah.
And played for Slow Loris and played for Love Me Not, all in a matter of, I think, one day, which is just, I love that. I used to do that shit all the time back in the day, so I do not object.
Yeah, I just wondered if you guys knew. I saw that the other day and was like, wait, what?
But yeah,
But
Low
even
Carb,
having
by
said
the way,
that,
had a
I was
really
gonna-
good match.
I was going straight to
Yep.
Low Carb. Just going to get Brett's name out
Yeah.
there. You know, you could praise Devin, but honestly, Low Carb was doing the dirty work.
He was.
Where Bilbasad was doing it on his team, Low Carb was doing it on the other side. So
He had some big moments too, like a 6K going from his hole up to the first flag of the opponent and holding it down. I mean, it was like an all-out blitz for Love Me Not trying to cap out for that entire half, you know? Like,
was the most impressive bit where Love Me Not did not have anyone disputed.
yeah, I'd say so.
That's restraint on Price is Right.
Truly. That's good sportsmanship.
I would have burned one. That's just me.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And obviously, Price is Right missing their namesake here. Corey
Yeah,
Price.
Corey, I'm not sure where he was at that day. But yeah, I mean, really, that was a ridiculously well-fought match. Obviously, you see in the first half, it was very, very close. But on the Axis side, it was just Love Me Not had their big guns going double cap. And Devin was basically unleashed to go do whatever he wanted, pushing up double cap. And Colin was just hanging back and picking everybody off when they tried to come
Colin
in.
was hitting some crazy grand shots from bottom of double.
Yeah.
Like shots that no one hits.
Yeah.
So
he was looking very sharp.
Very
Doing
nice
a tough
shots.
route. I hate that fucking route.
no, that route is terrible.
It's truly a nightmare. And for Price is Right, I mean, Dillard, I guess not so much on Allies, but I know on Axis he was playing really well.
yeah, he had a couple of crazy streaks on
yeah.
Axis. I think he had 4 or 5, including a push, I think, to the Axis first. Where
Yeah.
I think he shot him through a wall or just barely clipped the wall.
That's right, yep. He was having
Yeah,
himself
Dillard-
quite a half.
Quite the car star. Pretty impressed with his work on the car.
Taylor had a good half there as well. He had a tough one on Allies, but going double cap on Axis, he was doing pretty good with having to counter Devin and
41
Colin.
deaths. That might be the death.
Yeah.
Death of the week. I have
It
to
might
check on
be.
that.
He was
That's a lot of deaths.
definitely every time he got to the bottom of a double cap had like a nade and a car or STG waiting for him there. But yeah, it was a tough one. That's a tough loss for Price is Right, and these guys like have quite a rivalry with each other, so there's a little bit of bad
there's
blood.
been some words, so hopefully they got that out of their system in the server, and we
They're
can.
going to
move
be
on.
playing each other again, I'm sure.
They're playing on Railyard. Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
one of the
God.
makeup matches for
Oh,
DreamWorks.
man.
I'm stoked for that. You have to showcase.
Definitely
Another
to shoutcast
huge
that.
match there. Yeah.
I think that could be if Corey Price can actually play in that, right? I think he normally starts with them. I
Yep.
think that could be a really even match on a significantly different map.
Right. And you have Taylor then on the heavy. I mean, Taylor can rifle all day, but like that's the beauty of having him on your team is the fact that he's a good heavy in a day and age where there's not a lot of good heavies. So having Corey back in the lineup and Taylor able to get on that heavy makes them a totally different ball game. And on Railyard, that'll be a fun match. I'll definitely be casting that.
Yep, I think so too.
And like you got it up right here, you could see the standings for silver. It is insane.
Yeah.
5 teams within 1 game of each other.
That's nuts.
4 teams tied, essentially.
Yeah. Tiebreaker is what? Price is Right over Sleepers. Love Me Not over Price is Right.
No go over Washed Up.
Yeah.
Price is Right over No Go.
Washed Up over Love Me Not. Price is Right over Washed Up.
And then Love Me Not, has only losses to Washed Up. So
Yeah.
if Washed Up can win out here, I think they could snipe a top 2 seed.
Yeah, absolutely they could.
They're going to
Especially
need
with
some
the
help
schedule.
from No Go, though.
Yeah, that is true. Let me see who does Washed Up get to play here? Sleepers, Moose Knuckle, And anyone else? Price is Right. That would be a good one to get back.
Well, it's nice to see that. It sounds like everyone's got a tough end of schedule for the most
Yeah.
part now.
Seems like, I mean, No-Go definitely seems to have the
And
worst.
actually, this change is going to screw prices right a little bit because they had the softest schedule to close out the season, and now they're getting 2 more top 4 matchups. I think maybe just 1 more.
Washed Up and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so not as bad as some of these others, but still, they're probably not thrilled about that.
Yeah.
But they still do at least keep some of that easier. You know, having already played the tougher matches, I think they deserve that.
Oh yeah. I mean, they've had to play everybody. Let Me Not was the only one who could get him.
As furious as I am at that no-go schedule, I get it. You know.
Yeah, it's the luck of the draw in the end. That's it for silver, right?
Yeah, that is it for silver. As you see the standings, you know, take one last look at them.
Looking tight.
Looking tight.
Gonna be interesting.
All right, but let's go ahead and get on with the gold recap from Solitude.
Okay.
And first match I wanted to get into was... What did I want to get into? Slow Lure Sonova haven't played yet. That'll be this weekend. And then I wanted to talk about Tom's crew, PMC Clinic.
Yeah.
Ooh, rough one.
Not
Evo left
a
early.
fun match, it looked like.
It says I have a bad gateway for the screenshots.
Same here.
I'll just pull them up this way, I guess.
Yeah, let me find it here.
I got it open now.
You got it open up.
So yeah, this was another one that was casted. PMC had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder after having to play with 3 backups on Rail Yard and taking a tough loss to Frank and the boys.
Yeah, they did throw their full starting lineup at you guys, and I think, you know, this is just a PMC map.
Looks like it.
They're always good at these random ass maps.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't ever expect them to really show up like this, and then here's CK just going crazy.
Of course, CK with the nades
Big
on this
nade map. Paul Kuhn is this is a really good map for him to snipe on with all the angles he can take.
Crod was ratting it up on double cap, man. He was taking some crazy angles and making the most of them. It was impressive.
Yeah, this is a map for Crod, and I'm sure 9 just was speedwaying through mid house.
Yeah. Element looked good as always.
Yeah, it was a rough one. They did a good job. I thought first half we started on, let's see. Yeah, we started on the Axis side first. We thought we would get maybe what we thought was going to be the harder side out of the way, and you know, it was about like a 28-point difference after the first half. So we felt like okay going into it Allied side, you know, getting to the double cap first. Thought we would rat it up to a little bit and just not go that way. We gave up the double cap, I think, a couple minutes into the second half.
Yeah.
We traded once or twice back, but for basically the last, like, I think 8 minutes straight, maybe 9 minutes, they had the double cap. Crod stood at the top of it and changed his position. And Paul basically rotated instead of sniping from loft, sniped the double cap, and that was it. They held basically the most important flag with 2 people.
Yeah, there was no getting... Like, Crod was really on his shit on that route in that match. He was really tough to get out of there.
It's just such a disgusting route for Allies. Like, it... And how are you not supposed to play that way as an Axis?
You got to. That's the way it's always
Maybe
been.
not Paul Kuhn's extremities, but you know, I'm not even gonna knock that hard because
effective.
Yeah. Corey was sniping our side double cap on our match, which we'll get into.
Yeah, I had to.
It's the sniper going double cap on Axis is a strat. Like it always has been.
You got to rotate over.
I don't know about pro sniping in the tiny angle, but it's definitely an option.
That was definitely next level.
You know,
God damn, that's annoying though.
But look at what it allowed Carpenter to do. Carpenter was raping them.
And I did want to mention Carpenter. Like, this guy is just having a monster season.
He is.
I mean, he is just hanging with all the best snipers in gold. God, almost 40 on Allies.
Yeah, he was going off, man.
Was he just in that tower making it his home?
Yeah, he's great.
He is the king of the towers. He was in the fucking Anzio tower the whole match, and when we played you guys, and I just was losing it.
You know, he doesn't just sit there, though. Like, you know, when we play Railroad, he'll sit in the loft, obviously, but once he has the tactical advantage, if he's on Axis side and he can get to lower apps, he's sprinting to lower apps.
I've noticed that,
Yeah, so he's just not sitting in lofts and sitting in, you know, towers and just
No, and he's repositioning and shit. Like, he's not just camping. Like, he's a good sniper. I'm legit, he's good. Like, I believe it.
Looks like Debo went 0-30 on Allies.
Yeah, Debo 0-30 on Allies. Love to see it.
That was rough. We tried to send 4 Garden at one point for a while, and there was a point where I think it was just Crod and and Paul on the double cap, and we tried to flank him from both sides and squeeze him. And I think they killed 4 of us in one of those waves, and they just held on to it. So we couldn't even pinch them. One of them sniped from the double doors, and the other one side at the top of the double cap, and we just couldn't kill him.
I remember there was one part in particular where, like, I was saying on the cast, like, they just got to flood through garden and try to flank. And Debo managed to get through and got through the double doors to the top. And he thought Paul was still prone at the pillar at the bottom of the cap, but Paul had moved back to the top of the sandbag, so Debo didn't notice him sitting right next to him, laying on the ground. And Paul turned around and just, like, was like, oh, shit, no-scoped him.
Yep.
It was so close to turning around on them right then and there. If Debo had not been so sure that he was at the bottom of double cap there and just kind of looked a little bit further over to his right, he would have seen him, and then double cap would have been wide open and things could have turned around. Tough luck.
Like you said, that's the huge disadvantage of taking Axis first and shitting the bed. Like, it is going to be a pain in the ass to get that double cap back, especially when they know that they're up and that you have to push into them.
Yeah.
Like, that's when the map turns into, like, hell on earth. So that's a little trap there. Yeah, doing Axis first and screwing up. Like,
we thought Allies would just be the easier side. You know, once you get pushed back into that hole, you know, I mean, you're kind of trapped. It's hard to nade out.
Turns out you don't even get there.
Yeah, exactly. You never get there. You get plugged back and slip.
Teams figured out, once you get double as Axis, you start flooding through mid house. You start flooding through underpass and disrupt the 2 through that way.
I was surprised it took this long to figure that out.
You know, I think we're just seeing that these cars today are just too good. Like, you can't give them any space, or they just start killing you in waves.
Yeah.
And then they rush up and they die so that they get back quicker and they can throw more nades. Like, throwing nades over that house to the Allied first, like, that is just brutal.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
You know, and the other thing I noticed about them too, and this is, you know, the right thing to do, is they just flooded the double cap on Allied side. You know, two people died. Everybody from Garden side, like Element and CK, who I think were going underpass or mid house, right? They flooded to the double cap. Somebody else rotated in their place, right? So like that positionless DOD, right, is kind of like, I feel like the new meta, and the teams that can do that effectively are just really reaping the benefits.
You're right.
It really is.
Just
on the flip side, though,
around.
You know, teams that are trying that and failing are getting capped
out.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Because you have leave some huge. You leave some big holes there. But I agree that, you know, positionless DOD is the future, and we're there. We're living it.
Yep, exactly. I mean, you see it with your team, right? You see it with Thunder. You see it with T3 especially. Like, those guys rotate everywhere. You see it with a lot of the PMC guys. So I think that the really top-level teams are doing it, and it's pretty effective when, you know, they're not dying in waves.
Right. Especially on a map like this or Harrington, where there's that double cap to really focus on. Like T3, you'll see them with 5 guys in mid on Harrington. So
how was Clinic's preparation for this week? Because I know, God, we didn't want to scrim this map at all.
You know, we did like half a scrim earlier in the day against somebody, and it was pretty good, just like a warm up. But with some of our work schedules and stuff like that, really the only people who are on like a daily basis are really, you know, Sam, Candyman, and myself. You know, we have a couple people who work nights, and, you know, a couple people who have families and kids.
Right.
And some's in the military, so it's a little bit different. He's been kind of out for a couple of weeks now and not playing. So it's just, we haven't really been scrimming a whole lot, and not being able to prepare a whole lot probably also affects it a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, not having Insom is just never where you want to be.
No.
Yep, he's huge. So I think he'll be back, or should be back this week after missing a couple of matches. So it'll be good to have him back.
Nice.
Which would be good because I will be gone again.
Yeah.
So Scott will
get one back.
The rifle.
Yeah. That's unfortunate though. Just can't seem to get everybody on at the same time. I guess he did say that you kind of knew that was coming with the Debo pickup. Like, that was the reason for it.
Yeah, I knew I would be out at least 2 weeks. It turns out 3. We knew Insan would be out for a little bit, and, you know, Vic's going to be going to Japan for like the last 3 weeks of the season, so I'll leave another hole for us to fill. So, that time of the year where people are just, you know, taking trips and going places, and it's just hard to backfill sometimes.
That's true.
Especially with a team where we don't have any other traditional heavies outside of Vic, right? Everybody's pretty much a rifle or a sniper, and that's why one of the reasons we picked up Debo, and he's been a good addition for us.
Oh yeah, he's always carrying his load.
Exactly what you guys needed. As much as I hate to say it.
It was a natural heavy.
But that was PMC over Clinic 148 to 44, and that will drop Clinic to
2-4 with a win over the second place team. Crazy.
Yeah, with a huge tiebreaker. So you guys are just still right in the mix, obviously. PMC, that was actually a huge win for them.
It was.
That's gonna boost them up to 3-3. They also have some nice tiebreakers, including over Icy Hot. So Yeah, PMC not out of it, not out of
No.
that first round bye potential either. And honestly, neither's Clinic. Like,
Nope, it's going to come down to the last 2 weeks when you play the teams that are basically adjacent to you in the
Yep.
standings.
Yep.
That's going to create the separation.
That's the fun part.
so really, just Slow Loris is on, Death Watch. But other than that,
Yeah.
all the rest of the gold teams are pretty much in the hunt for the playoffs.
Slow Loris could still do it,
technically
too.
not out of it,
Yeah, they could still pull it back.
but it is getting pretty close to midnight.
Yeah.
All right, but let's keep moving on here. Next match.
Thunder.
Oh my god.
Icy Hot.
Thunder, Icy Hot. 121 Thunder over Icy Hot 73. Yeah, Tom, did you get a chance to catch this one, or were you guys playing?
There was no cast, I know.
There was
Yeah,
no
there was
cast.
no cast. I think we might have been playing at the same time.
I think you guys were playing at the same time. This match was what I would like to call one of the most stressful matches I've probably ever played. Especially the second half. Like, I thought we won Axis so hard that Allies was going to be a cakewalk, and I was just brutally reminded that that is not the case against these rifles.
That was your first mistake.
I think, I don't know what their strat was exactly, but I know Sick and Vertex swapped somewhere along the way, and Vertex started going double cap on Allies, or he was going double cap the whole match, but on Allies he was really committing, and I don't know. I think you got to get Vertex out in the open and just let him run. Don't shoehorn him into going in that death pit, but... he still was a pain in the ass to deal with. Like, God, that guy
Certainly
just
on Axis, he was
shoulder peek you perfectly, make you waste some ammo. Pain in the ass to deal with. Yeah, I mean, I was prone all over the place on Axis because what else can you do?
not much.
I mean, it's Vertex. Like, I knew he was coming at me, and I had to even the odds some way.
I mean, really, both halves, it was like the Allied team were just kind of... I know me and Austin both had to sit at our own first flags, like, the entire half on Allies. Or second flag in some case, and snipe the second flag. So that tells you a lot about how that match went.
Yeah,
although we did manage to pull it back with the cap on Allies. That's the reason that
we did cap out with like 20 seconds.
We would have won without the cap out, but if
it would have been a 3-point
it would have been, a 3-point win, which Icy Hot doesn't need any more of. Really, we were just sparing them from the pain of another less than 5-point loss.
I mean, they were 5 seconds from winning that match, to be honest. Like, maybe 10 seconds. Like,
basically, if any mid-break that happened, had we not done it successfully, we would have lost.
Dorito had like a huge mid-break, and he also had a clutch kill on a guy who was getting behind us through R2. Just the most ridiculous shot I've seen him hit with a Grand probably since he's been back.
Yeah, that was quite a crazy moment when it was him and Jared 2 versus 6 as the last two alive for about 6 seconds.
10 seconds.
It was a long span
brutal.
to be dead.
Lot of death camp for me in that second half.
No doubt about that.
I still think Icy Hot's a really good team. They've just had some horrible breaks and matches
really,
this season.
Truly, yeah. I mean, they're going to be the team that has to be watched out for in playoffs, where things are going to be a little bit different. All of a sudden, those wins that they're losing by 3 points are going to start going their way eventually.
Yeah, I'm pretty worried about them. Like,
yeah.
If anything, this is just going to make them resilient.
Like, oh, absolutely. They were very close to beating us.
Yeah, they pretty much already figured it out. They're just kind of rounding out the edges, if you will.
Oh, yeah. Vertex had a big Axis half. Jared top fragged was 64. Jules had a big Axis half. I continued my run of the least deaths in deaths per match because I'm nether hell now. Sniping sucks, and I'd rather die.
There's honor in nether hilling.
Yeah. I mean, I did say coming back, because everybody said that I was just a movie clip player and I just go for frags, and I said, I am a team win player. There's a reason I got 29 rings on all these fingers and toes. So I said I was going to prove it. I'm going to play passive. And then I had the second highest KD ratio last season, and now I have the least deaths. So I've proven my point now.
And they outfragged us by 20 on their Axis half. It was rough.
What was, how much did we outfrag them by on our Axis?
We outfragged them by
38. Yeah, Axis half again coming up big. Good old Solitude.
Good old Axis half. Yeah, that's the good news, everyone, is that Solitude is in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, thank fucking God.
Probably forever. Because
hopefully.
Next season, I'm not playing it.
Yeah, I'll pass.
I'll be on vacation.
I'll fucking pass. I mean, look
All
at
right, let's
that.
keep.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
let's
was just
keep
gonna
trucking. Unless
say,
you had any other
yeah.
thoughts.
No, I don't. That was just a really fucking stressful and intense game, as we expected, and there was a lot on the line record-wise, because if they had beat us, then we would have the same record, and they would have had the tiebreaker, so we
Yeah,
could not
and
afford to
then-
lose.
I mean, we would have been looking at him not making the playoffs, so lost
Yes, because Clinic has the tiebreaker over us, too, so that
Yes.
last spot would have come down, like, if we had had the
Yep.
same record, we're out.
there. And honestly, we're still not safe. So
No.
I'm not even that comfortable. But again, that
Don't
was
be.
Thunder over Icy Hot, 121-73. GG's Icy Hot.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Sorry for proning that much.
Pushing us to
match
the
of
limit.
the week.
Typical T3.
Typical T3.
And, you know, I hate to say it again, but I did call this before the season, hashtag typical worst to first. And
we
now
might have to pull the tape up on that.
we got it.
We do have the tape. No, you did call it. You've been calling it for a while.
Every week. Uh-oh. Tom is
Uh-oh.
disconnected.
He's coming back.
Yeah, we'll get him. We'll get him.
We'll get him back.
I'm on the lookout for him.
This was match of the week. Did you cast this? You did.
I did cast this, yeah.
It was an early match, and T3 did have to use a backup and a ringer.
Yes, and that is unfortunate for T3. But to me, like the guys who they had to fill in, you know, they're in a better scenario than most teams when they have to use a backup and a ringer, where, you know, you can bring in 50 or Bud or Booten, whoever isn't starting that week and stuff. Like, it's not an optimal situation, but Paul in for Nick is a kind of like the perfect replacement.
You dragged
too.
Tom back in real quick.
Yeah.
T3.
Like, being able to fill Paul in for Nick Patton, that's like the perfect sniper replacement style and skill wise. So
Yeah, and
I
they
like
play
that.
together. They've scrimmed together. Like, I think he raced with him quite a bit.
Oh
So
yeah.
Easy swap in there.
Right. And then obviously 50 getting a chance to play again this week. I don't know where Till was. He was the one missing in that spot. But yeah, I mean, really, Typical just did what Typical does. He had Frank top fragging for the second week in a row. He had 40 with a Unter and 36 with a bar. So he's played 2 classes in 2 weeks and top fragged both weeks. And he's averaging 40 kills a half right now. 160 kills. Pretty crazy.
I caught the second half of your shoutcast on this one, and I think you were watching Grease quite a bit.
Yeah.
He was just fragging out of his mind with the bar.
Yeah, I was just on 40 bomb watch for him again because he just can't stop dropping 40s. He came up short, but the average kills ended up out at 40 a half across his 4 halves. He's just ridiculous. And Typical just, I mean, even though obviously T3 is missing Till and Nick, like Typical just played really, really well. They had their shit together. Greets knew exactly what he wanted to do on his route. Team owner played out of his mind as well.
Yep.
He's excellent
really
going
efficiently.
along.
He kind of just played that passive car role and just kept shooting them.
He is a nightmare to play against going along an underpass, and Nightmare himself is a nightmare to snipe against ever. You know, he did what Axis snipers tend to do and just kind of not die a lot. Allied side, he was able... The biggest thing as an allied sniper is just being able to get to tower. And if you can, you'll have a good half. And he did. So, he was in tower all the time.
That Greets frag count was the most frags in silver this week.
Yes. And the MVP, ironically, was team owner.
It was, yes. So we had the top fragger, but the MVP was on the other team, or the same team.
Same team.
And so huge week for Typical, all
they
things considered.
Great. And, you know, T3, like, it wasn't like they had no resistance offered at all. It just, you know, it looked like Typical was more well prepared, and them missing starters on T3 just compounded the problem. You know, I mean, obviously you want to have all your guys, but you go up against a guy like Frank on fire the way he is, it's going to be tough to beat them no matter what.
Yeah, and Frank, you know, we heard he wasn't going to play much this season.
Yeah.
He's playing his ass off, which is awesome.
I told him he better play, and he said, I will. I'm going to do it.
Looks like he's solidified himself as part of that Typical core.
Yeah. Manor got in doing a lot of the dirty work this week as well on the third rifle / light, which was good to see. And, of course, Milo doing his thing.
Yeah, Milo just as consistent as there is a heavy.
Yeah, especially his STG, I think, is quite exceptional. I mean, obviously, if you're a good heavy, you're good with the bar. The STG, a little less a consistent weapon for the best heavies out there, but Milo's always putting up good frag count.
And yeah, Nightmare, huge 33 and 17 on allies.
Yeah,
God, I'm
course.
sure he was just killing everyone.
You know, and T3, it's just nobody could really get going. Like it was just impossible to get going. They were just getting strangled out the entirety of both halves. Nothing could get done
I'm
anywhere.
guessing they were missing Till. He's kind of their
They were,
idol.
yeah. Till was missing and Patton.
Yeah, I feel like Patton's guy who
Patton.
dictates a lot until it's kind of the glue guy
Yeah.
sometimes.
But
And
I
you
will
throw in
say-
guys who haven't played a lot in as well. Like 50 hasn't been playing a whole lot lately, so you
Yeah.
throw him in against one of the better teams, and it can be pretty rough.
Big time.
Gorilla played pretty well, all things
He
considered.
did, yeah. I think he's a good fill-in. Like I said, I think on the cast, I said, like, as far as play style and skill level go, like, Paul is a pretty great analog for Nick. As far as, the intangibles of, like, really directing traffic and stuff, maybe not, because it's not Paul's team. He's probably not going to be sitting there, like, telling people what to do. But, just from a pure gameplay standpoint, I think that was a pretty good ringer for them to be able to find for him.
And that will put Typical in the driver's seat for the 1
Yeah.
seed, at least going into the mini playoffs.
You might say that they went from worst to first.
You could. I'm not gonna verify that yet, because there's still a lot of DoD to be played.
There is.
But man, right now they are looking worst to first.
They
for
are.
Sure. Typical over T3, 100-50. Nice score there.
Yeah, nice and uniform. I love it.
And that will finish up
The
week
worst
6
map
for
ever.
gold.
That will finish up the worst map ever. That will never be
And
played
Solitude
again.
is over.
Thank God.
Except Soloris and Over, who will be playing.
Yeah,
Yes,
except for the
yeah.
the rematches.
Yeah.
And the rematch.
And the
oh my God.
rematches. So really, there's way more Solitude left than we should ever have to deal with. But it's fine.
And a quick look at the gold standings. Like we said, Typical standing alone at the moment, but they've got Thunder T3 right behind them. Typical can't really afford to drop a match right now
No.
if Thunder wins out, because we do have the tiebreaker over them. So they
That we
do
do.
want to win out here.
Can't
And then
afford
you
to
have
lose.
PMC right behind them. Sorry, go ahead, Corey.
No, I was just going to say, you can't afford to lose. I'm just putting pressure on them. Just got to
Can't
put some
afford
pressure.
to lose, Typical.
Don't even think about losing. Don't do it.
And then PMC Icy Hot right in the middle there, with
Yeah.
PMC holding the tiebreaker.
Right, that's dicey for Icy. They're going
When
to
you
get
guys played
going.
Typical, they didn't have Frank, right?
They
No,
did
no
not.
Frank.
He did not play.
Which map did we play them on again? Hallie.
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 Yeah,
Really competitive map there.
unfortunate.
No, that Hallie match was fine.
Yeah,
It was
that was
close.
how it went down. We won by
It was pretty close.
77.
We had Altar strat mid match.
I do believe
We were getting a little worried.
it worked out in the end. We
It
kind
did
of
work out in the end.
we couldn't cap out for the life of us on our allied side. We just were like,
Yeah, so we had to go full rat axis.
that was when Nightmare killed. He went and sat in those double doors and killed everybody who went for the flag for the rest of his life, and he never died again.
And then bottom 3 we have Over Clinic and Soloris again, though Over 2 and 3, Clinic 2 and 4.
And they got a
Yeah.
matchup coming up too, I believe.
Yeah, they do.
Or
So Over.
no,
could,
they don't.
Well, Over could lose here. Go
Yes.
to 2 and 4. Has Clinic played Over yet?
Yeah, we played Owner or
On Hallie,
over
right?
on Hallie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And No Name went crazy. I
Yeah.
remember now.
No name went
Yeah.
crazy. We had some people who didn't know the map or hadn't played it.
Yeah.
And that was a rough one for us.
Fucking
Yeah.
Hallie.
Unfortunate loss there, so they will have that tiebreaker over you guys, which
Yep.
that's rough. But it's still everything's in Clinic's hands to win out.
Oh yeah. There's a lot to be done still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
big playoffs.
I'm
You
not
guys are
sure
gonna
how
find-
much. I think so. I'm not sure how much the tiebreakers will really come into play with the weeks 8 and 9
Right.
matching seeds adjacent to each other. Like maybe it will, but I think that's the chance to create separation if you can.
Exactly. And then even if a team does have a tiebreaker on you, as of right now, you might be playing them in these last 2 weeks and be
Correct.
able to bring that back.
Yeah, negate it.
Yep. So basically no one is fully out of it yet. Slow Loris is close, but they can still absolutely, win out here. And
get that 6th or 5th spot
Yep.
potentially.
right.
They've just struggled finding consistent 6. They've got some really good players.
Yeah, that's really the
Hildebrand has
thing.
been playing out of his
Yeah,
mind.
Ben's been trying everything he can to
So
win.
it's Gall.
Yeah, Andrews looked great too.
Gall's been playing lately. He's been playing really, really well.
I'm sure they wish they had got somebody who was actually playing in that trade for Austin.
Yeah, I think isn't
Yeah.
Head like a whole playing now for them, or will
He's
be a
on the
starter?
roster for sure, at least.
I know he's still getting his feet wet. I don't even think he has a mic right now.
Must be nice to have
So-
feet to get wet, huh?
Yeah, I know. Bad tournament. I keep bringing up the feet. I'm
They got
sorry.
Shreddies now, though, who has
They
been
got
playing.
their Shreddy, and he's played some, so
He
I'm not
has,
sure
yeah.
how active he is, but he's at least been in a server.
He's been around lately, ever since he's been on the roster. He's been 12-man and day in and day out, so They are
So, yeah.
definitely committed to trying to pull it back this season. We'll see if
Yeah.
they can pull it together. Kev would be nice to probably get into the starting lineup. Maybe they can pull Mista back. Probably not. He has not been anywhere to be seen.
I haven't seen Kev at all
Me
after
neither.
like the first week. He's just been kind of MIA. I thought that was
Yeah.
gonna be a really strong roster with
Yeah.
like the top 6, in contention with every other team in gold. And I think the only reason they, haven't been able to find a win so far is just the inconsistency so far in the lineup.
Exactly. Yep.
I think he's a Euro, so scheduling's been a
He
pain in the
is.
ass.
Yeah. And they only got 1 Euro, obviously. So trying to you can't tell them they got to play at 3 p.m. because so that's tough to have to deal with.
Well, through 6 weeks, any surprises to you guys here in the standings? Kind of what you expected?
Oh shit! I'm not looking at the standings. I mean, I'm not surprised at all by Typical being in first place.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
I do want to talk about Icy Hot too. I mean, 3-3, so they're kind of like right in the middle of the pack, but they also had 2 really close losses.
Yeah.
By like a total of 9 points or something crazy like
Yep.
that. So I mean, 3-3, but realistically could also be 5-1, top of
They could be
gold.
6-0,
Yeah.
easily. To me, that we won by however many points it was, but in reality, we capped out in the last 5 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, you could take 40 off that.
Yeah.
And that's what the real score
It was
is.
really by 4 points or something. So they could just as easily be 6-0, and they are that good. Their roster is very well rounded, and they have a lot of versatility on it, and they have a lot of old school smart players. They picked up Austin, which gives them a legit sniper instead of it being who's going to snipe this week? Can KO show up?
Exactly.
And
so
this is only
great.
6 second season ever rifling.
Yeah.
Some of these routes he's rifling for the first time, like chemille.
Really?
You probably don't want me telling people that, but
in all his career,
he's been a heavy most of his career.
Has he really?
Yeah, almost
That's
the entirety
impressive.
of it.
He's scary. I mean, best rifle probably along with Insom silver last season.
Oh
And
yeah,
now he's just killing it in gold. I mean, his skill level's that high. He's so good.
he's cheating. You heard it here first.
All the rifles in gold are actually pretty scary. Some of these lineups are nuts.
Yeah, I hate how many good rifles
He's got a
there
lot
are.
of CSGO experience, and that's basically he's been playing FPS his whole life. He never really switched over to any an MMO or anything like that. He never really got into MMOs or stuff like that.
Boo.
He does like RPGs. I'm not going to go into William Sick Blackwell Hour, but
yeah, you will. You'll
but
try.
I will. But okay, let's put a bow on Solitude and throw it out the window as we're driving by and leave it there.
Finally.
And I did want to segue into a little piece here I want to call Talking with Tom, and that's just where we get into our guest here and find out some stuff about you. And the first thing I've been wondering, Tom, is when did you start playing DoD? Like did someone get you into it? Was there some friends that were like, check this game out? How'd you stumble upon it? Because honestly, I very vaguely remember you back in the day, but I clearly quit kind of early.
Quitter.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Counter-Strike back in the high school days and stuff like that. And I had a buddy load the mod up on my computer, but I really didn't touch it for years, so I didn't really even play DoD. I think until 2010, maybe even 2011.
Okay,
it was definitely way past the peak, and it was really just pubbing. I had gone to college, graduated, and I was working a night shift, and so every once in a while I would pub during the days just to kill time in 475th, Merrill's Marauders.
Oh yeah.
And then the intricacies of the game, I really enjoyed it, and ended up playing in 475th a ton, joining the clan along with Yanni. So Yanni was actually in the clan.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I've known Yanni for the longest out of everybody in
That's
DoD.
crazy.
Really,
I had no idea that you
That's
guys went
awesome.
back that far. I can't believe you didn't mention this to me.
I love that.
And he's young right now, but he must have been. I don't know. I'm trying to think. He must have been probably 14 or 15 at the time.
I think so. Yeah.
Something around that. So yeah, I've known him a long time. And then 3-sided quarter, also started playing in 475th, and I think he's the one who really got me into 12 manning for the first time and kind of opened me up to more of the competitive scene.
Mm-hmm.
And
you
then
just got hooked from there.
Got hooked from there. Yeah, 475th created a TPG team in maybe the mid 20s or late 20 seasons, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I do think so.
Oh yeah, I got dumped on. I didn't even know there was other maps outside of Kane. That's all I played was Kane 24. Right, so trying to learn maps on the fly, but I had a lot of fun, and then ended up meeting the guys for the clinic right now. There was no regard back then.
Yep.
And really, that's the only other people I've ever played with is Insom and Swave and Candyman. Bullet Slinger was on back then. Tin Bad was on our team back then.
Oh yeah.
Trying to think. Cruddy was there. Maddie Nightmares was on the team back then. So like those are just really the only guys I've ever played with and been playing with them ever since.
Damn, that's kind of cool though in a way.
I
That
feel like that's how a
consistency.
lot of people experience DoD though, is they find that really tight knit group that they kind of got brought up with, and then they're just attached to them forever. They're
Yep,
just
exactly.
they play all these different games together. You just got this little group of your friends, and yeah, I mean that's basically what happened to me at DoD too, essentially. So what was the name of that first competitive team?
It was 475th.
475th. Okay.
And then Teamless was like the name of or like the first like real competitive non-pub team I played with. We were Teamless. I think Lerfooled was on that team as well.
He was.
Yep, and J Kid I guess was the other one. He would have been the other rifle.
Yep.
Yep, and then we were Teamless for a couple of years, and then some variation of that, or a different name, and now the Clinic. Played with CS:GO with these guys over the years too for like a long time. Valorant. So pretty much every competitive game I've always played has pretty much been with this core group.
And when did you
That's
come back
awesome.
to DoD? Was it like pandemic era? You kind of pop back in?
Yeah, pandemic era. I think 50 messaged me and told me there was a group of people who were, mostly Europeans who were playing 12 mans on the weekends and to stop by. So then I kind of got back into it. Yeah, exactly. During the pandemic. And, now it's kind of like snowballed. We have a KTP season with
Yeah.
all these teams. Like it's actually kind of nuts. It's had a resurgence and, people have talked about lands and we're doing drafts. Like it's actually kind of crazy.
So nuts that there's
is
even a
nuts.
possibility of a DoD land.
Yeah, I think Corey's trying to get something in Vegas going
Yeah.
next year, but
We shall
And,
see.
now you've obviously grown into a community favorite, if you will, and you've kind of taken on a leadership role. And it's funny you mentioned, I was kind of going into this next lands and what have you. And is that what you want to see DoD going forward? Do you realistically see us having a land, or like, do you think we should be having more drafts? Like, would you like to, one thing I've been kicking around is a World Cup. I'm kind of curious your thoughts on that.
yeah, I actually really like the drafts. That probably is my favorite thing that's currently going on in the community. I think it's a good chance for people to play with, players maybe they don't get to either 12-man with or play on their team. You know what I mean? In a completely different environment. So I think that's a really cool format. That's you see players who don't really play week to week in the KTP league kind of come back for the drafts, which I think is good as well.
Yeah, I do love draft tourneys.
Yep, it seems like every time we kind of get maybe in the 10 to 15 player range who aren't regulars come back for it for the one day, take the day off work or get the day away from the family, and kind of maybe go back to like the golden days of DoD and get to enjoy that again.
And I know the kind of the current scheduling is that we're not going to do drafts mid-season, but I've kind of been thinking maybe there should be a break
Like an all-star
some
break.
point in the
Yeah.
season, and there is a draft,
That could be interesting. Yeah.
and that might actually bring more exposure to KTP League itself. Get some of
Good.
these
Yeah.
guys coming back.
I do like that idea, especially maybe during the times of the year when we have seasons when there's like a holiday. Maybe doing the draft like adjacent to the holiday where maybe some people are
Yeah.
going to be gone, but enough people will be around to play. I think we've done that on Labor Day a few times, and
Yes.
I think we had a New Year's draft maybe one time.
I mean, you could even do like a Sunday Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
I think most people are done with the festivities by that Sunday.
I would think so. Everybody's recovering then.
They might still have family around though. This might not be
Yeah.
ideal, but just
Family.
spitballing here.
Yep. No, but that's probably my favorite part. I'm actually looking forward to the next draft. I was actually thinking about that today. So back-to-back winners with my teams. I'm looking forward to
Oh
three.
wow, I didn't know that. That is amazing, actually. What was the last team?
The last one was me, No Name. No Name went way
Oh,
later in the first
yeah.
round, and I was like pulling my hair out because I had a whole plan. I was drafting like 7th or 8th, and I had a whole plan of who I was going to pick. And then I thought No Name would be gone, and he was there. So it was me, No Name, got Caffrey in the second round, Vic and Carp from my team, and Laura.
That
That's
was such
just,
a
that's
weird
just putting
draft.
together a nice balanced
Yep.
team right there.
I was
got
losing
nice
my
synergy.
mind that day.
What was that, Corey?
I
Sorry.
said I was losing my mind that day watching
were
that
you-
draft, happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I rewatched the draft, and you were like, "Who's going to finally take it?
Yeah.
Who's going to win the draft?"
Like, what is
But,
happening?
Yeah, No Name
But
falling
yeah.
to 7 is pretty disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. And Corey's team was like the one who I thought we'd be up against because Corey's team was really good. It was a 1-point victory for them in the very
Yeah.
first match on Thunder,
That's
and
right.
I was like, sure, we were going to rematch, and it just didn't turn out that way.
No, we got beat by low carb.
Yep.
I wonder
But,
if anyone
yeah,
else was on that team.
That was my team. Uh-oh.
But drafts are cool. I think we had talked maybe a little while ago about doing like a regional cup or like you're saying a World Cup again. I think would be a cool event.
Oh
I know
yeah,
there was a Regions Cup like a number of years ago. I think it was like 3 different regions from the U.S., Canada. I know there was like a South American team, maybe even 2.
Team
Yeah, Cass
East.
hosted that.
Yeah. So I thought that was a pretty cool event, and again, like a little different format, and that would be a cool thing to do again.
Yeah, I would love to do the full world, but obviously it would be a nightmare trying to get like South American teams to play the Euros because they
Yep.
just they can't schedule against each other. It's just
No, yeah.
impossible.
True.
So it may have to be more of a regional thing, but
But that'd be. I mean, see, you have like a South and East, a Central and North. You could have like 4 U.S. teams. Canada could have a team. I
and
mean,
I was hoping for
pro-
multiple South
yeah,
American teams, and they could even
probably.
play each other on South American servers
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's how we're gonna get more. I think international players to come back as they
Yeah.
see that going down.
CIS. If they have a CIS region team, maybe Coffee can put together more. Like a Western Asian team.
Right. There's got to be guys still playing over there.
Yeah.
We
Is
have
there
actually
any?
played an all Chinese team the one day.
Yeah, they're playing Duty in China.
Yeah.
That's happening.
And then maybe it'll attract some of the guys who used to play like Badger and SQ and Kev and maybe some people from like the Poland, Germany, like that area too.
That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
that would be my goal with that, is to definitely pull some of these guys out of the woodworks, get some nice, interesting matches.
Yep.
Hopefully, balance out the teams,
Yeah,
break
and
up
I think
Team East.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a good format, and I think Matt did a really good job with the drafts and come up with clever ways to kind of make it a little bit more exciting with like the bounties and
Yeah, that
the
was
frag
fun.
movie and stuff like that. Spice it up a little bit. I like that.
That was pretty sweet.
Do you have any format ideas for any drafts you had in mind that you would be down to share with? Not to put you on the spot.
Fucking
No,
Barbara
I think
Walters.
I think every time somebody's done a draft, they've kind of like thrown their own little twist on it. So I did organize one before, and it was just like your standard draft with nothing different. But I think maybe expanding on what Matt did last time and coming up with some different ideas, maybe for best like highlight in a frag movie for every class would be kind of cool. So reward maybe the best light streak, rifle, sniper, heavy, and do some stuff like that would be fun.
That's interesting to me.
I kind of like I don't even want to call them like tier 3 players, but like the people who drafted the last draft, like
Yeah.
you put the big hitters on the board and let's draft those guys instead of them drafting. I don't know. I like both sides of the coin, I guess, when it comes
Yep.
to
Nope.
drafting.
I did like that last time. Yeah, like you're saying, instead of like the top tier players, right? Like somebody like me who's kind of like middle of the pack or middle to lower, right? But who still knows the community. I think that was a good way to change
Exactly.
it up too, and be willing to do that again.
Next question I had for you. Can you give us your DoD Mount Rushmore? Like, who are the 4 players that you would say you've been inspired by or looked up to, or just maybe molded your game off of? And it isn't, and it could be anyone. This is your personal preference here. So give me your the 4 people you're putting on Tom's DoD Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. It's probably a little weird because starting the game so late, I didn't really watch demos. Like, I think that was probably pretty popular when DoD was at its peak, is you would watch demos of like all the other really good players and learn their routes and tips and tricks. And so like I never really did that. So most of like my exposure was like through frag movies essentially, and more of playing over the last couple of years. So I'm not sure what model my game after, but like definitely players I look up to is PDX is pretty nuts with like every class.
Yeah.
I really like playing with him. Like he's so down to earth. He doesn't rage. Like he's a good communicator. So really like playing with PDX. Tox is kind of like another one. Again, like going back to his frag movies are insane. Really good player. Had the opportunity to play on a couple of those KTP weekend matchups with him on his team.
Right.
Earlier in the season, so that was a good one.
Been around forever.
Been around forever. Yep, exactly. Patton's on there too. Again, I mean, I started sniping originally, but getting to watch him more and more through some of Corey's streams and against some of the frag movies. Right, he's just super patient and methodical about everything. Everybody seems to get super frustrated playing against him just because he has a tendency to try to like outsmart everybody, and he's pretty successful at doing it. Knows all the angles. Right, he's such a good sniper and just really methodical, I think.
It's very fun to watch.
You got one more for us?
We'll stick with those 3. I feel like
Okay,
those are like the 3 main
no,
ones.
I like it. Yeah,
Lots of good players, though. I mean, I've gotten to play obviously with both of you guys. I played with Paintball quite a bit, and Taylor quite a bit. In 12-mans and pugs and stuff like that. All of them are insane skill wise and have crazy frag movies. But
I made Patton's frag movie too.
did you?
That was mine. Yeah.
I've got a lot of your movies actually. I think in the Frag movie library, a lot of Frag of the Weeks, but also a lot of like individual movies and team movies
Yeah.
as well.
Jared
Speaking of
always says I
movies,
made every movie, but
do you
I
have
did.
a favorite one or two off the top of your head?
Yeah, so for like older movies, like Act Path 4, I think is really good. Just like his style of play and the music and the highlights, especially probably for that era of DoD,
Oh
were
yeah,
really good.
so good.
Yep, the tragic movie I like a lot, and then the Vasily Flawless one are probably like my three
Yeah,
favorite of like maybe like some of the older movies.
I made
A
that one
Corey
too.
Marco classic.
Yep. And then for like the newer movies, there's a European one, Death Clan the movie, which I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
was like a European team. That was really cool.
that is a good
Really
movie.
really good frags, really good music, and some different editing style that I like. And then actually one of the Thunder 4 Years Strong is really good, but Jagan has like a triple frag of the week. It's like Anzio, Donner, Lennon from like
Oh
an older
yeah,
TPG one that's actually really good.
I love that frag of the week.
And I think it may even be you. Do you have like a 5K Stoss and like
That's
Anzio
yeah,
on
that was
Plaza at
me.
the end of it, which is
Yeah,
pretty nuts.
the clip of the week. I was so
Yep.
nervous about making myself the clip of the week, but everybody I showed it to was like, I mean, come on, you almost ace with the Stas.
Yep. So those are really good ones. But honestly, like a lot of the movie makers, like Kaboom has a ton of movies. They're all really
Yeah,
well done. Like the Grease movies are good. Bull
love
Goose Looney
those.
had a couple for DGF and for
Yeah,
Watch Your Back. They were really good. Laura's had a couple that are really good. So, now, the video quality is so much better and the editing software is so much better. Like you can make them a little bit more fancy. So
it's
it's almost
so
like
awesome.
very, very different styles between the early movies and the newer ones.
Oh yeah, the simplicity of the old ones is always like interesting to see compared to
Yep.
what people can do now.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. And Booten's Lanology actually is a newer one too. I
Yeah,
really liked. I liked his Lanology. That was really good.
great movie.
Yeah, great choices there. Always love to hear someone's favorite DoD movies.
Right? It's a
You
great
really get
question.
a look into what they're,
Yep.
what they like. So really good choices
For me.
there.
Yeah, for me, like the editing stuff, since I don't make a lot of movies, like I pay less attention to that. But if you have good music and obviously the frags are what we're there for. So if you can get those two things, like I'm going to enjoy it.
I agree. That's my thing. There are some movies where like just the editing is, like the I Stand Alone movie, the Falcone movie has like
Yep.
insane editing, but there's a lot of 2Ks and like random wall shots where I'm like, well, I don't really want to watch this to get ready to go play DoD, but it's got good music and the editing is nuts.
Yep, and I like that Corey's playing a lot of them too in between shoutcasts, like in the
Yeah,
beginning before the matches, right? He's throwing some of them on and getting to see some ones that people haven't seen probably in a while.
I love doing that. It's a little bit of a Thunder Discord activity too, where I'll start streaming and just play a bunch of
Yeah,
random DoD movies.
yeah, I'll throw them on every once in a while. I mean, I think I have like maybe like 100, around 100 on my hard drive, and I'll throw one or two on every once in a while.
It's not bad. It's not a bad haul. I
That
wish
is
I
a good
had my
haul.
old hard drives, man.
Yeah, somewhere along the way I stopped downloading them, unfortunately.
Yep.
But I wish I didn't.
I
But
download
anyways,
everything.
good stuff, Tom. Thanks for giving us a little insight into the mind of TomFoolery.
I love it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. And
We
yeah,
should have
thanks
been
for having
doing
me on.
this
This is
every
really
week.
cool.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, we like I said, we've been wanting you on for a while. It's just been kind of crazy with the scheduling. But yeah, let's keep moving here. Let's get into Chemille, week 7.
Oh, baby. I'm
Another
back.
big map, Solitude into Chemille. Everyone's excited for that.
I love Chemille, man.
And let's get right into Silver. And first match. That match isn't happening. Second
No.
match. Moose Knuckles versus Washed Up.
Yes. Okay, so Moose Knuckles and Washed Up. I mean, that's kind of rough for Moose Knuckles.
There's no way
Obviously.
of sugarcoating it.
No, I mean, you got realistically, if it's the lineup they've been deploying, you got Bo, Quack Duck, Sean Allity. They had Blackheart playing in Big Bird and OS last week. I'm not sure if they might, maybe have G in. They do have Drew, and I keep mentioning this every week that maybe she'll play, but she hasn't yet, so maybe I'll stop mentioning it. But yeah, that's their pretty much their basic 6. And then Washed Up, assuming that, again, they're not missing anybody, it'd be Bullet, Bromley, Secretly, Arachnid, Ducksworth, and The War Within. They have a couple of really nice backups all throughout this roster, though. But they have a great starting 6.
Yep.
That team is stacked.
Yeah, this is just going to be a bloodbath of all proportions,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
There's not much that can be done.
It's a good map to slow them down on.
True.
So Moose Knuckles can maybe find some nice angles. prone somewhere.
And it's
you know,
chemille, so arachnid won't be as much of a factor.
if we've learned one
sniping.
thing, Price, or excuse me, Let Me Not is weak on these slower maps. I think.
Wait, are we doing with Love Me Not or Washed Up?
I'm sorry, Washed Up.
Yeah, Washed
Oh,
Up.
okay. I was like, shit.
Excuse me, Washed Up is weaker on these slower maps, in my opinion.
Yeah, they like to open things up and frag hard.
So yeah, Moose Knuckles.
I mean, that's just
not
a rough
out
draw.
of the realm of possibility.
No, nothing's impossible. But I mean,
it's going to take some practice this week.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna be 3 or 4 caps. I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of rough, and that might be a little generous.
It could,
I'm going 5 caps.
Yeah, I'd
for
say
Washed Up here.
that's like, it's gonna be somewhere in that range of like 200 plus points at least. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Washed Up is one of the best teams, and Moose Knuckles still trying to find their footing, get a consistent 6. They, getting to watch them play too. Like they got guys that are improving week to week, but they just got to get it all figured out together as a team. And until they do, running into these teams is just going to be so rough.
They're getting better though.
They are.
They're getting the reps. It's good practice. I really hope they're having some fun. At least,
And adding Sean was a really good pickup. Like he's a guy that will he'll drop bombs for them, and that will help them a lot. He's great
Still
at
hoping
chemille.
to see Shifty get out there sometime.
I know, yeah. They got guys like if they can just get some of these players in that haven't played but that are known to be good players, I think that could help. It could be scheduling and stuff though. You never know. But I mean, I think that's about. There's probably not much to say about that matchup, really.
Where'd you end up, Corey? You're 5 capping it too.
Yeah.
So, I think we're all in the 3 to 5 cap range for Washed Up over Moose Knuckles. But good luck, have fun, both teams. Let us know when that's going down. Maybe we get a casting on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's keep moving here. Love Me Not versus Fast Loris.
Okay.
Kind of the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, Fast Loris has had a little bit of a rough go so far this season, obviously. I mean, they've also played a tough schedule, that's for sure. But I think that with them, it's another situation of like getting a consistent lineup and everybody getting reps in and just kind of figuring things out together as a team. They have a lot of good, experienced players on it, but some of them have only just come back in the last few months and are still kind of trying to find their skill again. Getting those reps in, like guys like Lynx, who used to be just dominant rifle. He's still kind of figuring it out. It takes a month or two, really, if not more, depending on how much you're playing. So, and stealth is tough because this is your best player, and chemille is not a sniper map.
Yeah,
so
and I think he hates chemille, if I remember correctly.
I mean, is this a situation where you take him off the sniper, maybe
you
put
might.
him in a role that maybe has a little more utility?
You might. I think you might consider that this week.
Have you seen stealth off the sniper?
He can definitely car. He can car.
I've seen it with a car once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah, he can do it.
I don't think he's doing anything but sniping on allies.
No, probably you're probably.
He might be okay with a car.
Allied sniper isn't bad though. I'll say
he's gonna hold on to that Springfield.
But yeah, I mean,
has Clinic gotten a chance to scrim Love Me Not this season?
We have not scrimmed Love Me Not. I've scrimmed with Love Me Not once or twice, and I think not telling you guys anything you don't know, right? Colin and Devin, right, are kind of like the backbones of that. Now they add KO and low carb, right?
Yeah.
On a map where they can rotate pretty much everywhere. It's pretty fast. It's I don't know. It might not be great.
No, and Colin, I mean, last season on this map, I know he top fragged in the league with like 82 kills or something. He definitely likes chemille. Yep. Devin, obviously, whatever they have him doing this week, he'll be getting like 60 or more kills total. It's going to be tough to overcome.
This week.
He might.
They may just send whoever underpass and
for sure.
Low carb, really, right?
Breaks. Yeah,
low carb could just or coffee. Or both. Like they'll
they might throw
underpass.
Coffee out there. He's kind of nuts on this map.
This would be right up his alley. This is a map where he could do a lot of damage. There's a lot of places to prone.
You send low carb and coffee underpass, and it's over.
Send 4 the other way. You're fine.
You don't even want to go that route. After you run into the prone wave once or twice, you're not going to want to go there. You're just going to shut down that half of the map.
So tilting. And you got KO, so hypothetically, what's your factory team here? Colin, Devin, Hambuga, KO in factory.
That's just insane.
That's Jesus. So yeah, Love Me Not, I would probably take by, I'd say like 130.
I'm going to go 4 caps.
Okay.
Which is a little
160,
more than
yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think maybe like 3 or 4 caps. I think it really just depends on the lineup for Fast Loris. If you get Hey Hi in there, Stealth, Laura, and one other person maybe on your factory team, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe keep it
Yeah.
competitive. You know what I mean? Have some alternate strats or try to have some like maybe different strats that are a little bit unique. But if you're missing one or two of those players, it might be a little rough.
Slippery
I
slope.
think Stealth. Yeah, I think he got COVID possibly. So I know he's
Ooh,
been feeling pretty
No.
sick.
damn.
So
Hope
hopefully
he's
he's
feeling
feeling
better.
better by the match. Yeah.
That sucks.
Feel
Hopefully
better,
Kev feels
Kevin.
better, yeah. But yeah, I mean, their factory team, definitely, you could see a lot of talent stacked there that could go head to head with these guys. That could be their path to victory. And then just, I mean, we don't know that they'd send Coffee and Low Carb going underpass, but if they do, that is exploitable. So
Yep.
it's not impossible, but just, I'd say logic says love me not by a handful here.
Yeah, Fast Lore's going to have their hands full.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the rematch from the defeated bowl, the
Oh,
winless
yeah.
bowl. And now it's Moose Knuckles versus CIS. CIS with a win under their belts. Get to go right back against Moose Knuckles on
Yeah.
chemille. I wonder if Moose Knuckles will again have issues with their roster
That
showing
is
up early.
right. So that could be another potential wrinkle for them too.
Could be another ringer scenario. I don't know if No-Go will be around this time.
Right.
I'm sure they will.
They might be playing at that point. Who knows?
Yeah, they could be. So, yeah, again, I think CIS is going to just do exactly what they did last week.
Yeah, I'd
and,
say so.
Just kind of outgun them.
Now,
mean-
they just played, like we just saw this matchup play out on a map that,
On a similar map,
yeah.
too.
So, like,
Tight
realistically,
corridors.
yeah, you got to figure CIS by at least like 100 points. And then,
Yeah, and I know chemille was a pretty, I don't want to say popular source map, but it was definitely in the rotation.
Yeah.
So they're going to be familiar with the map.
they'll pick it up
CIS
quick.
will. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think this one, same thing. Could be another 3 or 4 cap situation for them. I just think
Right.
they're really good and they're kind of peaking, and I think they're going to win the rematch too.
Right. It's going to be tough for Moose Knuckles to turn that thing
Yeah.
around from last week. Not
Yeah, I think-
impossible,
Not impossible.
but very
Although
tough.
one thing I will say is a couple of times when I've played CSS or watched the shoutcast, it feels like they don't cap and push necessarily at the right time. So maybe that'll keep it a little bit closer. And
That's
Moose
true.
Knuckles has a maybe keeps it a little close and comes out with like a last second cap out or something.
Yeah. Their timing is a little bit off on that
Yep.
sometimes. They're just
Yep.
not used to it, the respawn timer and everything, and that can get you all killed at once,
Yeah,
so
I've seen them push instead of capping the flag. Right, they're all push when they could have easily had like a
Yep.
double cap or something like that, and they kind of give up map control. So I mean that could happen. Although there's no double caps on this, so
right,
a little
that
less
is true.
likely.
Yeah, that I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same wavelength here. CIS over Moose Knuckles by about 3 to 4 caps.
Yeah.
100, 160 points, somewhere
Right.
in that range.
In that range.
All right, but that leaves us with the silver match of the week. And it's looking like it's going to be a double header. No-Go versus Sleepers.
Yes. Now
And
that
at
is an
the-
interesting one.
Huge matchup here. Both teams 4-1. At the moment, it's scheduled to be chemille into Thunder back to back.
Okay.
So we got a little extra to talk about here tonight.
Interesting.
For chemille, I pretty much know what No-Go's going to do, and I'm going to keep that close to the chest for now because this is such a big matchup.
Jesus.
But it is going to be nothing too crazy. You pretty much know what you're going to get with No-Go.
Yep.
Chemille is not a map that either of these teams are probably comfortable on. I think this is going to be anyone's match.
Absolutely. And they are two of the best teams in the division.
Yep.
It's going to come down to preparation, which one of them is scrimming enough on chemille this week,
Yeah,
I think.
they're both scrimming right now
Nice.
as we record this. So
Good
that's
boys.
also cool.
Yep.
I like it.
God, Sleeper's Rifles scare me on this map. They're
They should.
really playing well right now.
It's all three of them. Fanicky, Zaps,
Fanicky,
and LZL, or if it's
LZL's impressed
Barina,
me.
or
Yeah,
if it's
LZL's
Dry.
Yeah, and who knows if Barina shows up? It's
Yeah.
bad. But LZL really has stepped it up this season. He's
Big
played
time.
well almost every match, including
Really.
with the Grand, which is that's kind of what anyone can car star.
And
I've been saying it
what's
my whole life.
what could be even scarier for you here is Burn is their sniper, and if they so
Burn is their
desire,
sniper.
that means Burn can just hop on a Tommy and a Noonter.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Burn is just lighting this
Yeah.
whole chemille map.
And it would be it's not a bad strat. It's actually kind of a good strategy. So that might be or at very least on Axis, you'll see him with an Unter. So you just got another guy who can just ram an automatic down your throat all over the map.
I will say this. Spoon is not playing in either of these matches.
Oh no.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah. This is a
Oh,
doubleheader without Spoon.
that's
so
bad.
I'm gonna leak that. It's kind of already out there, but yeah. So this is gonna be a big test for No Go.
Yeah,
Now
that's
they have
rough.
the depth to get through this,
For sure.
but that's obviously their probably their best player, if not their second best player.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's
Yep.
shown it in his frag totals.
And he does it from the heavy position, which is always
Rare.
where you want. If you got that, you're thrilled. So
Yes.
luckily, these two maps aren't super heavy important maps.
Yeah, no, I mean it's mostly
Chemille
them holding
kind of
him out.
is, but Thunder, yeah, it's a shit show. So it's bunker.
Yeah,
They might that might be the saving grace for No Go here.
it might be. Yeah, and No Go, they don't hate Thunder.
No, not at all. They feel pretty good about
Yeah,
Thunder.
they
But I
look
think
good on it
Sleepers also
always.
feels pretty good about
They
Thunder.
definitely do.
I played against Sleepers last night, ringing for another team against them, and they played very well.
Yeah, they're great.
And
at
they
it.
didn't. They had a bye earlier.
Oh, so they didn't even
in
get
the
to
season.
play.
So they were
Yeah.
pissed they didn't get to play Thunder.
Yeah.
If you remember Chi talking about, that's one of his
Yep.
favorite maps.
That's when
Yep.
you know you're in trouble.
So now I'm just like, I'm super worried about No Go. But I do
Yeah.
think, God, this is going to be so close.
I feel like they split these. I feel like Chemille will be
I do
close,
too.
but I think No Go might have this. But then I feel like Sleepers comes back on Thunder and
Right.
probably gets the W there.
I do think that
that's probably the safe bet.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that the difference maybe in snipers might come out there a little bit too with Sleepers.
Who will No Go have sniping? Or are we not
I guess
allowed to say?
we'll just get into it. I think, and this is
Yeah,
still
unless you switch it up a little bit.
this is still up for debate, but it's sounding like Deidro's going to snipe Chemille,
Okay.
and Louis will snipe
Okay.
Thunder.
Thunder. Interesting.
Now, will Matthew end up sniping Thunder? Maybe. Will Dro end up sniping Thunder? Maybe.
Entirely possible.
The issue is, and this has been the issue all season, is that we can't rely on JN to snipe right now.
Because
Like
he's busy.
because he's not going to be around
No.
Yeah.
when the playoffs start. So we really got to get reps in on other people.
Is Lerf
Yeah.
playing? I just saw him on the roster. I
I
knew
don't
he'd been
think
there. Has he
so.
been playing at all?
Lerf is off the grid.
He
at
played
the moment.
Thunder, ironically, earlier
He
this
did play
season.
Thunder. We talked about him playing Railroad 1. He said he wasn't crazy about Railroad 1 and that he wouldn't mind not playing.
He wouldn't mind
and
it.
then I was like, okay, well then you're benched. And then he's
Damn.
gone.
He's out.
It wasn't that aggressive, but we've got him on milk cartons. Right
Now we know where Jordan went. Tony
So,
told him he's benched.
If you're out there, Lerf, I miss you. Come home.
Come snipe.
But yeah, that's also kind of why Lennon is what it is right now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like that for now. So, I don't know what's going on. I'm sure he's just busy. I've known Jordan for a long time, and I think he'll be fine. He'll be back. Will he be back for No-Go? Probably not.
Yeah.
We'd love to have him. I mean, that was my
Please.
pickup of the year.
Yeah.
We slid Lerf onto that roster, and there's your playoff sniper. So it's literally back to the drawing board.
Big
No-Go,
time.
week by week right now, which is
Yeah.
not where you want to be week 7 with
No.
a double header of sleepers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sticking with the one-on-one. I'm a big fan of No Go. I was a big fan of them last season. Really like the guys. So, looking for a win there in Chemille, and then I think Sleepers might have it on Thunder.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for No-Go to take them on Thunder without having a really somebody who you can count on to snipe, and then being able to put those other players in the classes that they're used to. Like Louis on the sniper will do fine, but you'd probably rather have Louis on a rifle holding mid-house.
Probably.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, No-Go's going to try and compensate with some maybe some interesting strats.
Okay.
So
Yep.
that's all I'll say. And sleepers,
Yeah.
we know will do crazy strats.
Oh yeah, they are
Coach
strats.
Tony's got the playbook.
Yeah.
we could be looking at like a 5-on-5 bunker scenario or something
Ooh.
off initial. Like I honestly would not be surprised because it's going to be a crazy back-to-back.
I'd love to see that.
But from No-Go, I think you're going to see Sapphire for sure both matches. You'll see Dro, you'll see Matthew obviously. It sounds like Louis is going to be in. JN will play both these matches, and then. Ooh,
I think you just named 6.
did I?
Yeah.
I think that was 5.
Said Matthew, Dro, that's 2.
That's 5.
Okay, yeah, that is 5.
Apple.
Yeah.
Apple's probably
Apple.
the
Okay.
next one. It'll
Okay.
Apple or maybe it's got to be Apple.
That makes sense. Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
a good roster. I think that
Yeah,
roster
and
could win on
that's-
Chemille.
and Yeah, exactly. And this is, No-Go's been preparing for this, so it's not like this is, oh shit.
They've been playing each other like fucking 5 times a week for a year, it seems like.
Yeah,
So.
and this is literally rivalry week.
Yeah.
Even though these two teams love each other.
They do.
But they have scrimmed a lot, and it's always close.
I'll tell you, they better not let Matt get going on Chemille, though.
Yeah, I mean, Matt is kind of the X factor for No-Go.
Yeah.
Like, as he goes, so goes No-Go, if
Yeah.
you will. Especially with Spoon out of the lineup for this week.
Oh, yeah, he's going to have to make up a lot of frags there.
But I'm okay with calling it a split, even though I'm not okay. So let's call it No-Go taking Chemille and potentially dropping Thunder. I think I can sleep with that.
I can live with that.
I can sleep on that at least.
Sleepers is putting you to sleep on Thunder.
Sleepers
it sounds like.
and Cheese still
knocking you out.
Still not happy about me predicting
you
against him.
backstabbed him right here.
Live on the DODCAST.
It was
I
just
insulted him.
murderous.
Insulted the man. Insulted him a little bit. No, but either way, it's going to be a great match. I don't have the times for that, but
You'll
I will
get
get them to you as soon as I can.
I'll be waiting.
All right, and that was our match of the week, Sleeper
was.
versus No-Go. That will finish up Silver, I believe.
It does, yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's get right into Gold and get this fucker out of here. How we looking? Just out of curiosity. I guess I can look, right?
1 hour
Holy
35.
shit. All right, here we go. Going into Gold.
Oh, yeah.
First matchup.
Thunder Slow Loris.
Thunder Slow Loris.
Good luck, have fun.
Just one of my favorite maps, if I'm being honest. I've always liked Chemille.
Yeah, I do love Chemille.
And it's funny that I kind of wish Austin was still on Slow Loris because I have a nice streak of matches going where I wall him on this map.
Not anymore, you don't.
Including, oh no, he wasn't at SoCal, was he?
No.
No, he wouldn't be there. No.
Ben was. Hildy.
I walled whoever was sniping for Mile.
Oh, that would have been the game.
Maybe it was the game then. Well, anyways, I pretended it was Austin in my mind.
That counts.
Thunder vs. Slow Loris. Chemille. What else is there to say? Corey hates it. I don't think many of our teammates love it.
I just don't like sniping in general, but here we are.
He's going to drop the sniper rifle the first chance he gets.
Every time.
Movie clips of the car.
Yep.
First scrim, he got God spawn, so that was a good sign.
Yeah.
Of things to come.
I'll take that God spawn all day.
Did you get a kill? I honestly don't
did,
remember.
yeah. I got 3 kills actually off that God spawn.
All right, well.
It's a beautiful thing.
Full Marshall Drummond.
Yeah. None of them were no scopes like Marshall's though. He scope kills a guy, then no scopes a guy into quads, and then pistols.
And that was a God spawn, right?
It was, yeah.
Insane.
He's a
Who
god.
has the balls to do that?
Only Marshall. Maybe Nightmare too. I don't know.
Well, Nightmare would have got a double.
Yeah.
And then fell back to his 1.
That's true.
But anyway,
so I'm not predicting this match because
I'm not either. I'm
I'm
predicting a fun time at Underpass.
No proning allowed. Just kidding. Everyone can prone.
I'll probably TK Jules once. I think the over-under is 1.
I'm going to say thrice.
So people are hammering the over on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to get to this. Tom, if you had any thoughts on this matchup.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good one depending on the lineup for Slow Loris, but I mean, I think the chemistry and experience is on your guys' side, and probably gonna be a couple cap victory.
Okay, I can live with that.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'd be happy with that. I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be closer than I ever wanted it to be. Because that's how the season's gone.
That is.
I'm not even gonna joke about the prediction because last time I did that, it actually happened.
Yeah.
And then
And who called that?
Anyways, moving on. Good luck, have fun, Slow Loris, for real. Next matchup, let's do over PMC.
Yes.
Yep.
That's a
rematch of last season, I believe.
It was.
Yes, it was.
That was a close one. I think Element had like a 3K or 4K.
4K.
Maybe.
Clutch, yeah. And it turned me upside down.
The first big clips of the Jagan cast was him. Was it a quad K actually?
It was. It was 3 Unters and a pistol headshot.
Yeah.
And I turned upside down, and my little
you did go upside down.
One
of the best
flipped
moments
me upside down.
cast.
I don't know how that happened, but it was fitting.
That 4K would have had me upside down too.
And that's sort of like the origin of PMC as a Cinderella story, was them being able to beat over in that match. because nobody thought that they were going to win. They were this kind of like hodgepodge mixture of random players, and then they came out and beat Over in a match that nobody thought they would, with No Name playing and everything. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think Over is probably feeling a little better heading into this one with No Name leading the league in kills and second in KD ratio. But PMC does have that little bit of a backbreaker on their side of like, well, you guys got smoked by us last season when we were nobody. So, I don't know.
This is a PMC map if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I think this might be the closest map of the week for
Yeah.
sure. I think it'd be really close, and it's just going to come out to like somebody making standout plays or stepping up above like what their normal level is.
Right. And will Over have Caffrey, like if he hasn't played in
I
a
mean,
while.
Caffrey's, where's he been?
I have no clue, but they could really use the guy right now.
They really could.
If he's back, that gives Over a lot better looking chance this week. Of course, they still have No Name, who can, on a map like Chemille in particular, is very open to like you all dying to one guy at your first. So that is one potential X factor variable there. Where if it's a close match, what if No Name just decides to push puddle with the car up to the Axis 1 and kill all of you and cap out and you lose? But that, doesn't happen very often.
I'm taking PMC in this one.
Going PMC. Okay.
I'm taking him by a cap.
Okay.
Maybe less than a cap. We'll call it 30. I
am going to go with, okay, if Over has Caffrey playing, all 6 starters, PMC has all 6 starters, I'm going to take Over. I'm going to take Over by 37 points. Because No Name is going to get over 80 kills. No, he's going to get 72 kills.
What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think this is going to be really close. Even if Over has Caffrey, I still think I might take PMC, and I'm thinking like 20-point range. I just feel like CK running around factory with nades is the stuff of nightmares.
That is true. This is
a little worried about the scheduling time. That might not be good for PMC.
That is true.
Yep.
I think they're okay in the afternoon matches.
I think so.
Maybe one time they had an issue, but for the most part, they usually show up.
Like Paul is definitely obviously there to play for T3 on an afternoon. PB is usually around afternoon. CK I'm less sure about.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the one I'm worried about is CK in the afternoon.
Yeah. I don't remember what time they just had all 6 starters for an afternoon match, I think.
They did.
So,
yeah.
Oh, that was an afternoon?
Yeah,
okay.
They should be fine.
I thought that was a nighttime match.
No, I think it was at 4. Or 5.
Or PMC typical?
Yeah. It couldn't have been a nighttime match. It's typical.
That's true.
So, that's just another Euro match. I mean, obviously, PMC's got to be the favorite here. Like, they won this match last season. They're looking better than ever right now.
I mean, they're just doing their classic PMC move, which is kind of similar to what T3 does, and that's where they kind of get it together the last few weeks of the year or the season.
And Over,
the playoffs strong.
You look at Over's last match, and I mean, they lost barely, and it was a situation where everybody was negative besides No Name, who went like 75 and 40 or something. Yeah. And that, you can only go so long doing that. Like, you need at least one other guy in your team to go positive. It's just, you're not going to win that way.
I just don't think Over is practicing near as much as they were last season.
That is true, too. I didn't really think about that fact. We're not seeing them scrim like 4 or 5 times a week the way they were. So that could be a problem.
Them a lot during the week.
Yeah.
And, that has not happened this season at all.
No, they're like nowhere to be found, really. So they are just kind of playing matches. And that seems to be the problem.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because they are a good team. And I'm sure if Caffrey was around, they would be a little more inspired.
Yeah.
Because they would be probably a top 4 team.
Well, I'm not going to change my prediction because that would be a bitch move.
So you're sticking Over?
Yes.
I respect it. All right. And that's Tom and I are taking PNC.
Yes.
That should be hopefully when we can get a cast in.
That would be nice. Someone keep me posted, please.
I know we are planning on playing early ourselves this week, though, so...
Yeah, I believe Slow Loris is actually playing Over at 3, and we're playing Slow Loris at 4.
That's the plan. I'm not sure if that's finalized, though, but...
So it's possible Over will play PMC at 4, then.
I assume that's what will happen.
That's what I'm guessing. I don't know anything, though.
All right, but let's keep moving here. Next matchup, Clinic versus Typical.
Oh, yeah. So we know there's going to be some guys missing from Clinic already, right?
Yeah, Tom will not be there.
I won't be there. So I think it'll probably be Insom's going to be back. So I think it'll be Insom, Candyman, and Swave on the rifle.
Okay.
Debo, I believe, is back this week after his Vegas spree. So him and Vic will be having, and then Carpenter as always.
Nice.
Mr. Reliable and the sniper. So I'll be a starting lineup.
Just rock solid carp over there.
Yep.
And then
How's
typical.
Clinic feel about this map?
I feel pretty good. I guess that a lot of it's going to depend on Typical's lineup. If they throw out what they've been throwing out with, Milo and Greets and, Scotty, Nightmare, Manor, and Team-Owner, that's a pretty scary lineup. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to a good match. Good luck, have fun to them, and I'm anticipating a close one.
I am too. Especially if you guys can get that lineup out there that you mentioned for Clinic. That's going to be a tough lineup for Typical. Man, this map though, this is like a really good Milo map. I think he loves this map. I hate to say it.
Does he? I got the opposite impression that he did not like this map.
He doesn't like this map. I could have
And,
sworn he
and you
told
know
me he
what?
loved this
I know
map.
Debo will make it his mission to make sure Milo has a bad
He
time
will.
on this map.
Yeah, he
He'll
will.
do all he
That's
can.
important. And then will Greets play? Where will he go? That's always
Yeah.
Will
a
he
mystery.
You know,
Are you
like,
gonna get Die Life? Are you gonna get Baron? Like,
will
you just never
Cage
know
be
who that
back
third
in this
rifle. Yeah,
week?
will Cage be heavy? And I don't think, from what I understood, I think Cage is on a little sabbatical right now. So
Okay.
you probably won't get much of Cage.
I know that Colin likes this map a lot too.
He does.
Yeah,
I like this map a lot too. This might be like
that's
one of my
unfortunate.
favorite maps. It's
Oh,
just
that
so
sucks. Yeah, you're
different
missing
from a layout standpoint.
Yeah,
And it's just a little bit faster paced match. It's a little bit harder just to kind of be, that can't be placed out like you can do in some other maps.
right. I love Jamil in that regard. I just wish I
Yep.
wasn't sniping. But yeah, I mean, well, Tony, you didn't actually predict yet.
I'm still
You're
going
doing the
over in my
math.
head. I'm doing the breakdown. So it's like, Clinic's rifles are really, really strong, and this is
Yeah.
a big rifle map. So
They have a lot of teamwork going
I
their
could
way
see
too.
Insom going crazy. I could see
Absolutely.
Candy going crazy. Like, I feel like Candy's always been pretty good at this map.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be tight. It's going to kind of come down to what Typical does. And so far, they've seemed content with putting arguably their best roster forward.
Right.
So I'm going to take Typical, but by less than a cap.
Okay. I think Debo's going to drop. He's going to top frag this week. I think Debo, for some reason, just decides to cheat against teams who are in the top 2. He's going to come out. He's going to lay the smackdown. And I think that's going to be the path to victory for Clinic.
I'm rooting for Clinic.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody is
If
at
you
this
want
point.
my honest opinion,
You
I'm
know?
rooting for him.
Typical keeps winning. Nobody likes
Yep.
to see that. You like to see some parity. I mean, I personally saw this coming. I called it months ago.
Savant over here.
Yeah, no legs for
Corey
Damas.
over here.
But yeah, they're pretty scary. We're
They
keeping
are.
close. I'm looking forward to getting another win or hopefully 2 wins this season and making playoffs, right? Like, I think that'd be good for us.
Oh yeah,
It's definitely winnable. Like,
absolutely.
it's probably, you're probably going to catch them sleeping a little bit too.
And
so
it's the kind of map where you can get teams stuck in choke points, and there's just nothing they can do about it if you.
and I haven't seen
so
a scrim in all
choose.
week.
No,
I could be wrong there, but I haven't seen
not
him
that I've
around.
seen. Yeah, so
So
that's not a good sign for them, because this is a map that you want to have all your timings and nades down on, or else you're going to be
you definitely
TKing.
want some practice on it, like, because this is a map you don't play a lot.
Yep.
So it's really easy to come in and just kind of forget what the hell's going on, and
And
you're
like
0-6.
we were looking at the last season factor, so if you look at that with Typical, it's a whole different story. But they did lose by about 500 against Skull last season on this map.
Yeah, I mean,
Different team.
completely different team.
Yeah.
I'm not even considering last
But
season. Into
I
this.
will say in that regard, like you kind of, again, as a sniper, you kind of Nightmare. I mean, I'm sure he'll still get his kills and he'll go positive, but it's not like he's going to be just single-handedly holding. You can't do that in Factory as a sniper. It just doesn't happen.
On the flip side, Carp, same situation.
Yeah.
He's really been thriving.
Yep.
So, he may not even like this map that much. I don't think any sniper loves Chemille.
No. They will cancel each other out for the most part, so.
So then it just comes to rifles to me. Like,
Yep.
And it's if it's Greets and
Well, that's
Scotty
the other
and
thing.
Timo,
Is Frank going to rifle, or is he
Yeah,
going to heavy
exactly.
again? Is it going to be Milo and Frank and Manor going underpass? Because now you got Milo and Frank going on one route again, and like then the factory won't even really matter as much because everybody's got to worry about their first flat. Like there's all these things that could come into play, and that'll be dependent on the rosters and everything. It's scary.
it should be close.
I think it will be close. Yeah,
And it was almost our match of the week.
it was. Instead, though, it ended up being because it's so close to each other for a playoff race.
Yeah, and let's just go right into that T3 versus Icy Hot.
That is the
Another
big match of the
icy
week.
hot match of the week.
They've been like
Buckle
90%.
up.
Yep.
It's driving me crazy that we have to keep putting the same team in the match of the week, but
It just seems like every week they're in some like
Yeah,
must-win scenario.
they are. Like, sorry, every other team in the division, but Icy Hot, they have the most interesting schedule timing, I guess, in the end. But you got the Salsa Verdes and Bees and Vertex and Sick and Austin, of course, for Icy Hot. Very simple. Their roster's nice and small.
I do know this will not be played this Sunday. It's going to be
Okay.
pushed back, so don't get too excited.
All right.
I don't know when. This maybe even be played before their. It's got to be played before Lennon.
It's got to be
Does,
played.
yeah.
That's besides the Lennon matches.
Yep.
Maybe it'll be a Monday.
Something
I'm
along
not
those
100%
lines.
sure on that, but yeah, it's going to be a weird schedule for this one.
I'm sure whatever they do, they'll both have their starters, so that won't be something to worry about too much.
I know T3 kind of likes the weird schedule, so that's like probably good for them. Like they will probably have their starting six, and Icy Hot, they don't really have a backup.
No,
You know,
they don't.
It's like it's their starting six or they need a ringer.
Right.
So
none of their 3 backups seem to be available in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, they'd probably be asking KO.
Right, can you come back, please?
Depending on who was not going to be.
Can we make a waiver move?
This is such a big matchup for Icy Hot that I think it won't come to that.
No.
Like I don't want to call it a must win, but it's like a must win.
Well, I'm taking Icy Hot to win. I'm just going to say that right off the bat.
I am too.
Having just played against them, and we had like barely could hold it together in that situation on a map that's a lot easier to hold it together on, and having seen all these guys play on this map before, knowing the style of plays, like with the Salsa Boys and Underpass, like they're going to probably just not give that up. They'll do whatever it takes. They will set up a prone crossfire, I'm sure. Of course, you do still have to deal with PDX and Leo and Till and who knows
Bees
what they'll
has
be
been
doing.
known to rifle Underpass.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Which is a whole other wrinkle.
Well, Underpass.
Yeah. He's very good at it. And that's something that you don't see a lot. Like, you will see teams send a rifle Underpass, but usually it's just like, well, I'm going to sit at the sandbag and I'll get a pick and then I'll die.
Yeah, this will be a hard commitment from Bees.
Yes.
I imagine. So
yeah, I think that, I mean, obviously they're T3. They can win on any map against any team. Booten, if he's playing, great chemille player. PDX, obviously great. Patton has always been a good chemille sniper as well. We did play T3 last night in a scrim, and it was close. But yeah, I just think
they didn't have Patton.
They didn't have Patton. Yeah, they had Paul in place of Patton. Yeah, and he did well
right behind him.
So yeah, I mean, I just think that this is the perfect storm for Icy Hot being this map against T3. And if T3 is missing any of their starters again, like just makes it a little bit worse situation for them. But they have the firepower to make up all these things very, very easily, obviously, with a guy like PDX, who can just be a difference maker like that.
What do you think, Tom? Who are you taking?
Yeah, I like Icy Hot, kind of like you guys. I mean, looking at the scores and the schedule for T3 this season, I know they've had some ups and downs, but I mean, they're just really close games. And I just feel like maybe they're not playing up to their potential and like their skill level sometimes. So I feel like Icy Hot's just like on a hot streak right now, right? They're feeling good. They've got the synergy, better chemistry, and I think that's really just what's going to make the difference this week.
Yeah, they've been very active too, and T3 has been less active lately than they usually are.
Yeah, they've just been missing starters, and just a lot of their matches are close. There are teams that I think that they're maybe significantly better than, or they're just barely winning on those matches, and I would just expected more out of them from a team that basically won it all last season, right?
Yeah,
and it has like the star power that they have. Like, I mean, that's a really good team when they're firing all cylinders, but I just feel like they're not at that level yet. But they're an experienced team. They're really good. Typically, they have good chemistry, so they'll figure out before playoffs, and they'll just be dangerous then.
And in the playoffs, like last season, they were scrimming literally every day, like 3 times a day. There was no time they weren't playing DOD at night, so they will get to that point again.
Yeah, I agree. They throw their best 6 out there, right? Then that's a rough for any team kind of a deal. But I just feel like Icy Hot just right now they're just they got the momentum. So I'm gonna go with them. It's gonna be close, probably less than a cap, maybe 30 points.
Yeah, I would say so.
I do know that both teams are doing something a little different, and I can't reveal because I didn't get permission.
No, don't.
And I don't want to screw them both over this early in the week. So I will just say it's going to be a must-watch.
I will be watching it because it's the match of the week.
There's going to be some things happening that haven't been happening this season.
Oh shit!
Just going to leave it at that.
Wow.
Which is probably overselling it, but
Yeah.
I still think it'll be a great match.
I think I know what you're alluding to, but I'm not going to say it. So
Yeah, let's just say all I'm going to say is people on both teams are going to be doing things that you have not seen them do this season.
okay.
I like it.
We'll just leave it at that.
I
Yeah.
like it. You give us the details after the shoutcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after
I'm gonna be in
after-
some Phoenix bar watching DOD.
there you go. There you go.
I love it.
Maybe they'll put it on the big screen for you.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see if I can like Chromecast it to something.
Start spreading the word about DOD. People are like, "Who's that guy with a little face in the corner, yelling all
Exactly.
the time?"
Get you some more viewers.
Yeah.
Donations.
Hell yeah, let's go.
And that will be the last matchup of the
That
week.
is it. Yeah, that's a
And
big
that
one.
is the end of the predictions for
It
chemille
is.
week 7.
We came in under 2 hours. We barely made
Just
it.
under 2 hours. My
Barely.
God. It just flies by, doesn't it?
It does.
It does.
You just think it's like, oh, we've been here for about 40 minutes and it's 2 hours.
Yeah, because you're just having a conversation, and then it's like, oh shit.
Tom, again, thank you so much for joining us.
Seriously.
Great guest. Great insight.
Yep. Thanks for having me. And yeah, keep it up. I like listening to the DODCAST every single week, and I enjoy the shoutcast for sure. So keep it up. Appreciate the hard work you guys are putting in, keeping the excitement alive for the DoD community.
Oh yeah,
and thanks for all your work you've been doing on the community as well as an admin. I mean, you guys don't ever get enough recognition.
Nobody appreciates it
It's
at
a
all.
thankless job.
It's the opposite.
You're literally shoveling shit the entire time.
Yeah.
So
Everybody
thank you
hates all
to you,
all the
rest of the admins. Big thank you from Corey and I.
Big
I guess
time.
Corey's an admin. Thank you, Corey.
Thank me.
Yep.
Content admin. Anything else, Corey?
I don't think so, because we don't want to take it over the 2-hour mark. So
No, definitely not. Because then we got to re-upload it, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So let's cut it off here. Thanks if you made it the whole distance. Thanks for watching. And we do have some non-standard episodes coming up. I know
Yes.
I've been saying that for a month, but it is in the works. I think next week we might get our first non-traditional podcast out.
A very special episode.
That's the plan, so stay tuned for that. You guys are going to be excited about that one.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tom. I'll sign this bitch off now.
KTP.
KTP. Love you guys. See you next week. Sorry it's so long. This is what happens. You'll see when you're a guest on the show. And don't forget to check for, all the different tutorial videos that are out there. So, love you guys. Peace.